Government Law College, Mumbai, and now we are at the Indian Society of International Law for the North and the Central Zone. So firstly, a hearty welcome to each and every one of you. We will just give you a sense of what is in store for you today. We'll start off with the preliminary round. We are a little tight on time because some of our dignitaries have engagements right after the quiz, so I will keep on time. We'll have a preliminary round. We had a national level online preliminary round where we had about 1,000 lawyers who participated. Some of them have gotten qualified for today's event. The top three, some of the three of the 8 positions here have already gotten qualified. So the offline preliminary round, which we will do now, is to identify the top 5 teams who will qualify for the finals, right? That's just for all of you to know, right? So let's begin. Amicus Curiae, the North Zonal round, right? That's me. My name is Raghav. I'm one of the co-founders of Q-Shala. There's a quiz partner for the quiz, right? And it's my honor and privilege to truly thank the senior advocates who've really been the force behind this engagement. The 14 senior advocates you see there, starting off from Mr. Arvind Dattar, Mr. Chandra Uday Singh, Mr. Dama Sheshadri Naidu, Mr. Usefa Ahmadi, Mr. Jaideep Gupta, Ms. Madhavi Diwan, Ms. Meenakshi Arora, Mr. Nakul Diwan, Mr. Raju Ramchandran, Mr. Rana Mukherjee, Ms. Rebecca John, Mr. Sanjay Hegde, Mr. Siddharth Luthra, and Dr. Murlidhar, who have been the true sole force, if I may say, for organizing this quiz across the country. So I think a huge round of applause for them, like really kind of supporting such an initiative for lawyers across India. And a huge thank you for the zonal partner, the Indian Society of International Law, the support staff, and the in charge of the auditorium, Rabindra Palji, and everybody else who's really supported this engagement. Our media partner will be LiveLaw. The present quiz will be live streamed, so you guys can also go back and take a look at the quiz after. So it'll be live streamed on LiveLaw, and they've been our media partners and outreach partner for the quiz. Another supporting partner has been the National Foundation of India. They've in fact contributed a very special edition, Founding Mothers Calendar, which will be provided as audience prizes for all of you here and for the finalist teams as well, right? So a huge thank you for the supporting partner, National Foundation of India. And your quiz partners being Q-Shala. We are an organization based out of Bangalore. Our core mission is to really spark curiosity and build knowledge properties like quizzes like this to engage audiences across. Yeah, that's a little bit about us. And we hold the Limca Book of Record for being the first company to conduct a quiz in Antarctica and all the continents of the world. That's about a little bit of an introduction about the organizing team. Now, for the journey of the quiz, I think I mentioned to you about how the bandwagon of Amicus Curiae has moved from south, east, west, and now to the north zone. The winners and the runner-up team from the north zone will qualify for the grand finale, which will be held on March 2nd at the Delhi High Court Auditorium. And we are quite thrilled to have Chief Justice of India, Mr. Sanjeev Khanna, and Honorable Justice Sanjeev Khanna, and Mr. Kapil Sibal, who will be the guests of honor for the event, and Mr. Devendra Upadhyaya, Honorable Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, who will grace the occasion on that day. So really look forward to all of you, and it's an open invitation. Whether you make it to the finals or not, or qualify for the finals or not, all of you are welcome to be audience at the quiz. Okay, request the sound to be off, right? Okay, cool. So we'll begin. And what's at stake today, right? So the zonal winners of the quiz will go home with 9,000 rupees cash prizes, the runner-up team with 6,000, and the second runner-up with 3,000 rupees cash prizes. There's goodie bags for all the finalists on stage and amazing audience prizes as well for all of you, right? And the winners of the grand finale go home with 1 lakh rupees cash prizes, the runner-up with 75,000, and the second runner-up with 50,000 rupees cash prizes. So that's what's at stake for the national final. And I think we are ready to start off. Just by show of hands, do all of you have an answer sheet? If you don't have an answer sheet, please raise your hand. Yeah? you don't have an answer sheet, please, yeah. Second, kindly fill in your answer sheets because that will help us in identifying for the finals, like in terms of qualification of the finals and evaluation. There are some details sought. Kindly fill it up. I know you've already registered, but just for us to be doubly sure of your contact details and so on, right? So we are ready to start off the preliminary round of our northern zonal round of Amicus Curiae. All the very best. These are the rules for the quiz. So we have 20 questions in all. No negatives on the preliminary round, so please go out and guess. Most of the questions are things that you can easily kind of work out. Even if you don't know, give it a shot or make an intelligent guess. Star mark questions are from questions number 10 to 15, which effectively means that if there is a tie, we will use the tiebreaker questions to kind of, they will break the tie, and those who get higher tiebreaker questions right will qualify for the finals. The second aspect is top 5 teams from here qualify for the final. Since we already have 3 qualifying teams from the online round, so it will be 3 from the online, 5 from the offline, and they'll battle it out to see who the winners and the runner-up teams from the northern zonal round will be. They will be joined, as I mentioned to you, and a request for all of you, please do not use any electronic devices during the course of the quiz. Really would appreciate you playing fair. So we do have some of our volunteers invigilating around. So if they see you using a phone, I know as lawyers we know that we're all innocent unless proven guilty. But for the next 40 minutes you'll be guilty unless proven innocent. So if you use the phone, we will have to disqualify you. So please kindly play fair, right? And the quizmaster's decision for the next 3.5 hours. I'll be the final arbiter of any conflict. So that's, give me the liberty of that. And on that note, we are ready to start our preliminary round. Wishing all the very best for all the teams here. Here, that's our mascot. It's a black cat called Cutie. Really wishing you all the best. And the first question. In September 1945, Viceroy of India, Lord Wavell, in a public broadcast, announced the Labour government's New India policy. It said His Majesty's government are determined to do their utmost to promote, in conjunction with the leaders of the Indian opinion, the early realization of a full self-government in India. He continued, it is the intention of His Majesty's government to convene as soon as possible a dash. Right? I'll probably, the dash is a blank, but it's a blank of 2 words, in fact. But you can even express it. And this was the first time the British government went on to kind of officially bring about something. What was Lord Wavell's declaration in this case mentioning? We need, work it out, what long-standing demand of the Indian political leaders was first announced in the speech by Lord Wavell. That's the first question. Moving on to question number 2, coming up on the screen. Which notorious English land agent managed the Ireland estate on behalf of absentee landowner Lord Erne and was subsequently ostracized by local community in response to his evictions? An incident that led to a surname, very famous surname, entering the English language as a term for withdrawal or disengagement as a form of punishment or protest. Right? So a very famous, request the camera folks because there are teams participating. And I would urge you, if you want to come here, please come forward, just so that no visibility challenges are there for the participants. Right? So effectively, this man went on to, evict people. And that created a lot of protest. And his surname became synonymous with, trying to either, withdrawal or disengagement as a form of punishment or protest, right? Work it out. A famous surname, perhaps a small clue is, some of us would also know of that surname from a famous cricketer. Right, work it out. Question number 2, moving on to question number 3. Right. The origins for naming this location emanates from a meeting of architects, engineers, and town planners convened by India's first chief of protocol, Inder Sen Chopra, as they went over the area layout and the fitment of markets and residences for the local population there. A young IFS officer at the time, M.K. Rasgotra, who's pictured there, who turned 100 this year, suggested naming the place after the advisor of Chandragupta Maurya. Which place are we referring to? What location is this? A small history behind the naming of a place. The famous strategist of Chandragupta Maurya inspired the name of this particular place. Right, that's question number 3. Moving on to question number 4. Which word, later added to the preamble of the Constitution by the drafting committee, was originally absent from the objectives resolution which was passed in the Constituent Assembly? J.B. Kriplani, a Constituent Assembly member, saw the preamble as a moral and spiritual guide, introducing this value as essential to democracy. He described it as, we are all sons of the same God, as the religious would say, or as the mystic would say, there is one life pulsating through us all, or as Bible says, we are one of another. This is the same word that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar referred to as another name for democracy, describing it as primarily a mode of associated living, of conjoined communicated experience, an attitude of respect and reverence towards fellow men. Right? Which word, which was not part of the objectives resolution, but later was added, and which in many ways kind of resonated with all these values of associated living, of conjoined communicated experience, an attitude of respect and reverence towards fellow men. Right? So that's question number 4. Moving on to question number 5, coming up on the screen. In 2016, a unique museum showcasing original pamphlets, documents, reports, and other records since the founding of this organization in 1916 was thrown out open to the public. It has documentation of the history, development, and growth of administration in India. Which organization set up under Article 315 of the Constitution are we talking about? Again, lots of clues in the question. In 2016, it was kept open. What are we referring to? Moving on to question number 6. Har Bilas Sarda was an Indian academic, judge, and politician. He was elected to the Central Legislative Assembly in 1924 and then went on to 1926 when Ajmer Mawara was given a seat in the Assembly. He was instrumental in the introduction and passing of a monumental social reform bill, famously known as the Sarda Bill. Discussion on the bill was sent to Sir M.V. Joshi Committee, which finalized the respective relevant numbers to be 14 and 18. What bill did Sri Sarda introduce that faced strong opposition from Hindu and Muslim communist groups at that time? Think about it. Keywords are important. If you know the full name of the bill, well and good, or the act which later became the bill which later became an act, in this case. I mean, even if you don't know the exact name of the act, if you give me the more important elements of that, you'll get points. Question number... relevant numbers which are relevant to that particular legislation bill. So I'm being a little vague there, very intentionally. So the relevant numbers were set at 14 and 18. Right, that's question number 6. Moving on to question number 7. Right, just a quick note. Are you folks participating? Right. Okay. So I would request, yeah, if you can come forward, that will be great, just so that, and request some of the volunteers to be around. That's question number 6. Moving on to question number 7. This vehicle, formerly called Mahindra BE6E, a coupe-style electric SUV built on its advanced Inglo platform, is set to hit the road in February this year. However, Dash, a brand in a different industry, had some serious issues with the proposed model name, setting in motion an interesting trademark battle. The latter claim that a certain part of the proposed name has been at the core of its identity for nearly 2 decades. Identify the litigating company and the particular subject matter of this dispute. Right? I mean, in this case, I think we're going to be lenient. Just tell us which company, in fact, had an issue with it and sued Mahindra on a trademark infringement specifically in this model car. With respect to this model car, lots of clues in the question. Moving on to question number 8. In 2024, this literary prize for Indian writers faced criticism from around 120 authors due to its main sponsor, a missionary manufacturer. One writer remarked, "It's like a knife. It can build infrastructure for comfort, but has recently been used to harm the poor and marginalized." Which company that has become synonymous with the tool that reminds the Supreme Court, a tool that the Supreme Court kind of mentioned as lawlessness, is the sponsor of this literary fest? A clue could be a recent judgment of the Supreme Court, which kind of took note and said there has to be due process of law followed whenever any form of action is taken which could in many ways impact the livelihood of people. There has to be process followed. That process needs to be fair, just, and reasonable. And when it is not, it's an atrocity by the state. Right, that's question number 8. Moving on to question number 9. In this video from Siri Samvidhan, Jawaharlal Nehru is reading out a Nobel laureate's quote from the newspaper. The quote is critical of India's unity and its ability to write its own constitution. Identify the Nobel laureate, right? Who, here you will see Jawaharlal Nehru and Abdul Kalam Azad talking about it. You need to tell us which Nobel laureate had this criticism that India was not in a position to, or it had its ability to write its own constitution. Here it comes.
Rule on the basis of majority will be fatal to any conception of the unity of India. This unity was a superficial appearance imposed there by the long generations of British rule. And it would pass away once the impartial guidance from the outside is withdrawn.
That's question number 9. Now we move on to the tiebreaker questions. Question number 10. The practice, with origins in the 8th century BC, Greek Olympics, and later adopted by military traditions, became a controversial ritual in institutions worldwide. I mean, I might be getting that pronunciation completely wrong, or Charles Halsfeld referred the term in the 19th century when it was known as bizutage in France and praxe in Portugal. In India, a national helpline and state-specific laws addresses its harmful psychological and physical effects. What is this practice commonly called in the Indian subcontinent, or what term was introduced by Halsfeld? So the toll-free number is provided there. This is something that one might witness as a person in their growth from childhood to perhaps, being professionals. And in that journey, one might encounter this, and it definitely has a harmful psychological and physical effect on the individual. And this is an helpline which one should take recourse to in such a scenario. What are we referring to? And has its history in the practices, the military traditions, in the Olympics, and so on. That's question number 10. Moving on to question number 11. Identify the speaker who is the distinguished former judge of the Supreme Court of India, present Supreme Court Judge Justice B.V. Nagaratna, speaking of her said, the greatest thing that happened at the Golden Jubilee of the Supreme Court was the gift from Calcutta High Court to the Supreme Court in the form of Justice ... The conviction, courage, and independence matter the most for any judge, and she has exemplified that in her orders and judgments in her whole career. Right? So play the audio, listen to the audio, and tell us who the person is.
Police reform is the same thing. I mean, you had 7 commissions which recommended police reforms because the Act of 1861, which was framed as a reaction to what the British call the Sepoy Mutiny, and which we call our first war of independence. And so the police was then, the act came as an arm of the executive to suppress the native. Unfortunately, that particular act continues to be in force because all that has happened is the actors have changed. That the British have been replaced by the executive, who use the police in the same manner as an extension of themselves. There is no autonomy. There's a lot of political interference. 7 things.
Right. So, some clues in the question. This former judge came to the Supreme Court, from where? And it was in the occasion of the Golden Jubilee of the Supreme Court. So which famous judge of the Supreme Court is being referenced here? And you heard her audio clip effectively talking about police reforms. Right? That's question number 11. Moving on to question number 12. Recently, a Supreme Court committee was formed to address concerns over private vehicle access to the Pandupol Hanuman temple located within a protected wildlife habitat in Rajasthan. The temple, which receives thousands of devotees every week, is at the center of a debate balancing environmental conservation and religious sentiments. Authorities have proposed the use of electric buses instead of private vehicles to minimize ecological impact. Which wildlife sanctuary is involved in this dispute? Which wildlife sanctuary is involved in this dispute? Right? So, people going to the temple, were affecting the ecological balance of that area, the wildlife sanctuary. So, Supreme Court committee recently was formed, and a lot of guidelines were issued, including usage of electric buses to reduce air pollution and so on in that region, and also because they'll be less noisy. Which wildlife sanctuary was involved in this dispute is question number 12. Moving on to question number 13. On 26 November 1947, this gentleman, a tall, impeccably dressed person, pictured carrying a leather briefcase, posed for cameras in a rather stoic fashion. He then walked into the Parliament building. He was familiar with all the faces in Parliament that day. The last time he saw them all together was on 30th August that year when the Constituent Assembly last met. Now in November, the Assembly was acting as India's legislature. He had hardly spoken in the Constituent Assembly since his first session in December 1946. But silence was not an option today. He was going to carry out something very important on this day. What did he do or undertake on 26th November 1947? The reason why this question makes an appearance now, well, if that's a clue, there's a reason why I'm asking about this person or this incident now. That's question number 13. Moving on to question number 14. Which important constitutional principle did Dr. Ambedkar advocate for in his disposition before the Simon Commission, arguing, my feeling is that every man is intelligent enough to understand exactly what he wants. Literacy has not much bearing on this point. A man may be illiterate, nonetheless less he may be very intelligent. This principle was adopted instantly in India, unlike the incremental approach followed in other nations to exercise their rights under it in 1952. What is this principle that was first kind of proposed by Dr. Ambedkar before the Simon Commission's disposition? Right? Lots of clues. Think about what he's talking about. What is this principle? Question number 14. In other nations, they've used something called the incremental principle, or the incremental version of it. But in India, we followed instantly this principle. Question number 15 coming up. So Peterhof is a building in Shimla which housed at least 7 Governor Generals and Viceroys of India since its opening in 1861. After India's independence, the Peterhof building served as the Punjab High Court and covered the jurisdiction of current Delhi and Shimla High Courts. While it was redesigned into a luxury resort in 1991, post a devastating fire in 1981, the Peterhof is more famously known as the venue for a crucial trial in post-independence Indian history. Which famous trial took place here from 1948 to 49? Peterhof, which was the residence of multiple viceroys and governor generals and so on, also went on to be the site for a very famous trial which took place from 1948 to 49. Which famous trial are we referring to? Those are our star mark questions. Now to little more easier ones, if I may say. Radhakrishnan Prasad, a cartoonist for the Economic Times, took to X, posting this as a pun on a contemporary topic of debate with a flurry of ongoing petitions, mainly by right-wing groups and activists for its repeal. Which act currently being challenged at the Supreme Court has been blanked out in that particular cartoon? That's question number 16. Question number 17 coming up on the screen. Kundan Lal Gujral and Kundan Lal Jaggi are at the center of a title dispute. In the Delhi High Court with a claim for 2 crores in compensation, the applicant argues that Kundan Lal Gujral introduced a certain milk product to prevent a key ingredient of this particular item from drying, while the respondent insists that it was done jointly. Both sides cite the patronage of from Jawaharlal Nehru to Richard Nixon, the Shah of Iran and Benazir Bhutto to support their claims of originality. Though not a patent dispute, Justice Narula's bench must determine the origins of this flagship Delhi dish. What is the subject matter of the dispute? Right? You can just tell us what the subject matter of the dispute is. Question number 18. This book, written by non-binary queer rights activist and lawyer Rohin Bhatt, provides a detailed account of the court proceedings in the famous Supriya Chakrabarti and others versus Union of India. The title alludes to the state's dismissive charge that the petitioners represent a minuscule minority by choice which should deny them equal right. which pejorative term is missing from the book's title. We've shown you the image. This was kind of state's argument in front of the court. That's question number 18. Moving to question number 19. Professor Tarun Deep Girdhar of the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, designed this symbol. The design had to be made owing to a Supreme Court direction in 2013 and was declared to be a simple and unambiguous sign denoting disapproval. What sign are we referring to? Right, again, work this out. Simple and unambiguous sign denoting disapproval. And 2013 was when the Supreme Court gave directions for the introduction of this symbol. I mean, if more clues on this? No clues. Okay, okay. Last question of the quiz, and just to keep up time, what I'll do is I'll quickly read out the last question and circle back very fast so that you get your numbering right. And we will then get on to corrections, and we'll discuss the preliminary round answers during the correction time so that we can optimize on time. So question number 20, in 2019, Borosil, a popular Indian brand, launched the first Valentine campaign to celebrate which landmark judgment of the Supreme Court of India? Take a look at this advertisement.
You know, I never liked Valentine's Day. Har jagah roses or balloons, tea or sif rom-coms, all those cutesy couples and all that pink and red. Romance, candlelit dinners. मुझे इसमें से कुछ भी पसंद नहीं था. But not because I didn't have anyone to celebrate with. In fact, मुझे Valentine's Day पसंद नहीं था.
Right. Lots of clues. It's called the first Valentine for a reason. Tell us, it was made in honor of a certain Supreme Court judgment. Right? That's question number 20. I'll quickly move on to the 20 questions now. Name the famous judgment on question 20. Question 19, identify the symbol which was designed on the directions of the Supreme Court of India to kind of communicate simple and unambiguous sign denoting disapproval. Question number 18, just identify the title of this book, which we have blanked out. It says Dash versus the Union of India. It was almost a state's dismissive charge that it only affects a certain part of the population. Question number 17, identify this particular item which was the center of this dispute between Kundan Lal Gujral and Kundan Lal Jaggi. Question number 16, identify which legislation currently being challenged in the Supreme Court was the subject of this cartoon. Okay, if I may read it, it says Act 1991. Right? But more so, I think what is very important, this was found buried under some loose soil. Could it be of interest to archaeologists? That should give you enough clues to work this out. Question number 15. Peterhof, a building in Shimla, which was the residence of former viceroys and governor generals, also was the site of which famous tribe? In the disposition to the Simon Commission, which was adopted in India instantly, and we did not follow the incremental model. Question 13, this gentleman on 26 November 1947 did what of importance to India? Question number 12. Lots of clues in the question, in fact. Question number 13. Question number 14. In fact, if I give further clues, I think the star-marked gravitas of that question goes away. So I'm just going to restrain. The timeline is important. Question number 12. Identify the wildlife sanctuary which is in midst of this ecological challenge. Right? So this was a committee formed by the Supreme Court which gave guidelines recently. Question number 11, identify the former Justice of the Supreme Court of India, whom Justice B.V. Nagaratna called the gift from Calcutta High Court to the Supreme Court during the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the Supreme Court. Question number 10, identify this practice which owes its origins to the Olympics and military traditions and so on, but has a harmful physiological and psychological impact. What is this practice commonly known by? And this is the helpline when somebody is in midst of it. Question number 9, identify the Nobel laureate who critiqued India's ability to write its own constitution. In fact, the audio might not be as relevant as much as, this concept, right? So, in fact, if there is some clue from the audio, I would have probably played out. But it's more, this Nobel laureate famously critiqued India's ability to write its own constitution, govern its own self, etc. Question number 8. Identify the sponsor of this literary festival, which had quite a bit of controversy because they are a missionary manufacturer, and usually this particular missionary manufacturer is used in a certain context that when a certain process of law is not followed can lead to lawlessness and atrocity by the state. That's question number 8. Question number 7, who sued Mahindra for this particular model? Which company? Question number 6, just tell us what legislation came from Shri Sarda. Right? In fact, most of us would have read it as the Sarda Bill. Question number 5, identify this museum which was made open to public in 2016, which documents the history, development of administration in India. That's question number 5. Moving on to question number 4, identify this word which was not part of the objectives resolution, but later added into the preamble. Which J.B. Kriplani goes on to say, associated living, conjoined communicated experience, an attitude of respect and reverence towards fellow men. Question 3, identify which location got its name from this story. Question number 2. What famous surname we all know from a cricketing context came into the English language as a term for withdrawal or disengagement, punishment, or protest? That's question number 2. And question number 1. This declaration by Lord Wavell, then Viceroy of India, mentioned what for the first time? This is a long-standing demand from Indian political leaders. Right, that's our 20 questions. So we'll quickly collect the answer sheets. Request volunteers to very quickly collect the answer sheet. We will discuss the answers right away. And we'll have a very, very quick break. About 5 to 10 minutes. Where we'll also, you can just grab a cup of tea or so and biscuits. And we will start off the finals, right after. So you came in a little late. So we'll just be a little lenient for you to. No blank is indicative of any answer in the quiz. So just a little quizmaster's quirk of adding a certain number of. Right? I think just in the interest of keeping time, last call for answer sheets. If you have not handed your answer sheets, last call, please raise your hand now. Yeah? Okay, so, top 5 from the preliminary round qualify for the finals. We'll quickly have the preliminary round discussion right away. So you can.
To be continued marking.
Correct.
Say the audio sab acha.
सेम
अच्छा इधर ही येलो रिटर्न करेगा
नहीं अभी डिस्कस करेगा आंसर्स क्वेश्चंस को डिस्कस
करेगा अभी हम लोग कैमरा किधर रखेंगे इसमें
Have a mic for those of you to answer so that we have in place. Right? Okay, we'll start off with the preliminary. Just by show of hands, how many of you thought the prelims was easy? Okay, how many of you thought it was difficult? Some of you. How many thought it was balanced? Yeah, some of you liked it. Okay, cool. So, okay, cool. So here are the answers. So just show of hands. If you think you know the answer, raise your hand. There's an audience prize for all of you. So the first question, what was first mentioned in this declaration by Lord Webber? Right at the back. This was the formation of the Constituent Assembly. I'll give it to you. This was the constitution making body, or it said Constituent Assembly. Very good answer. And you get yourself a prize. Very quickly, if you can just raise your hands, you'll get a prize. Okay. Right? Next question coming up. Right? What surname are we referring to? Okay, I'll keep moving between these two. Okay, if you want to take a crack at it. I'll probably give it to ma'am.
Boycott. Boycott.
Boycott. Right? And the clue I had was, generally Jeffrey Boycott reference there. So boycott. Protest or disengagement, all of that was boycott. Right? Next question coming up. Okay, this must be an easy one for all of you. Right there, if you want to take a crack at it. Chanakyapuri is what we were looking for, and there was like IFS officers involved. What else? Chanakyapuri. So good answer. Right? And clues, yes? Oh, fourth question. Okay, yes to you then. Yeah? And what word in the preamble? Fraternity is good. Very good answer. Fraternity is what we were looking for. So, brotherhood of men, so a lot of persons, right? So, this is fraternity. Next question coming up. Right, okay. So actually, we'll probably go to somebody who's not probably gotten qualified yet, just so that it's much more. Yeah, over to you. Yourself, yes. UPSC Museum is right. So this is the Union Public Service Commission Museum, UPSC Museum. UPSC, if you have written, you will get points, right? UPSC, this is as part of the UPSC headquarters itself. So UPSC, you will get points. Right, the Shardabal, yes. Fabulous answer, yes, complete. This is the Child Marriage Restraint Act. Okay, so we would have perhaps considered, so I think my team will take a call on it, but mostly, yeah, if there's child marriage, I think would have been a thing, but yeah, so we'll probably consider, right? Yeah, right? So next one, question 7, I think a lot of hands going up for this. Somebody has not answered right at the back. Yes, yourself, yeah. 6E is indigo, right? So that says BE 6E, indigo. And so indigo's AITA code, and they said that this infringes on their, trademark and so on. Right? So this was with the auditorium. Anyone wants to take a crack at it? Right. Yeah, so I think, okay, so if you can give the answers, you for the first one to give it. JCB prize, right? Against bulldozer justice. So this is the JCB prize, right? JCB will points, right? That's the keyword we were looking for. Next one, right? Which Nobel laureate had this criticism? You're the first one to raise a hand. Yes? So let's see if he's gotten that right. Right?
Any attempt by the Congress Party to establish Hindu rule.
Okay, I don't know why the audio is a little off, but we'll increase the sound.
Fatal to any conception of the unity of India. This unity was a superficial appearance imposed there by the long generations of British rule.
So, I mean, you could see this photo. Churchill was who made that criticism, right? And question 10, I think this was a little tricky, but I thought try to give as many clues as possible. I'll probably go there once. Yes? Ragging is what I was looking for. Ragging. So I said in the development of becoming a professional, right? This is ragging, and that's the helpline against ragging. Right. So question 11 on this part of the auditorium. Yes? Indira Banerjee is a good guess. Good guess. Rumapal, Justice Rumapal was the answer we were looking for. That's a very good guess, considering that she's also from, Yeah, so this is Justice Ruma Pal.
Police reform is the same thing. I mean, you had 7 commissions which recommended police reforms because the Act of 1861, which was framed as a reaction to...
Right, so that's Justice Ruma Pal. Next question coming up. I took an answer from here. Now that side, yes? Sariska Tiger Reserve is right. So this is the recent, this one of Sariska Tiger Reserve, which, Supreme Court took up on itself, shared guidelines for using electric buses and so on. So Sariska Tiger Reserve is right. So, yeah, audience prize is coming your way. Right, question 13, I think this is, I'll just try to go to someone who has not answered. In fact, there are a group of, set of students who have also turned up for the quiz. Over to you.
Presented the first union budget.
Presented the first union budget. Do you know who this person is? Mr. Shanmugam Chetty, the first finance minister of India who presented the first union budget is what we were looking for. Very good answer, and you get yourself a prize as well. So this is Mr. R.K. Shanmugam Chetty. Next. There are multiple audios here. I just hope we can get that sorted. Right, okay, question 14. We took it from here, so I'll just probably, yes? Simple and good. This is universal adult suffrage or franchise. I'll give it to you. So this is universal. We did not make any distinction. It was open to every citizen of India above the age of 18 to vote. Right? Question 15. Anyone who has not answered, perhaps? Yes?
Assassination of Mahatma Gandhi.
So the trial...
Godse's trial.
Absolutely. So this is the trial of Nathuram Godse, which happened at the Pitterhoff building. Perfect. Very good. Okay. We took an answer from here. I'll go to that side. Yes? Place of Worship Act. Correct. So presently in a huge set of petitions in the court relating to it, this is the Place of Worship Act. Now to this part of the auditorium. Next question. Question 17. I think a lot of hands up. Yes? Butter chicken. He said that he added butter to, to take away the dryness or something of the chicken. So this is butter chicken. And between which two entities? Daryaganj and Moti Mahal. That's the answer we were looking for. Daryaganj and Moti Mahal. But the item is what we are looking for. Butter chicken. Right? Who invented the butter chicken was the question. Right. So this was... Right here, the side, somebody was not answered, perhaps, actually less people on this side, since no one has answered, yes? Urban elite is right. So urban elite, so this was one of the things that the state said that this is a problem for the urban elite, and this is a book kind of criticizing that. So this is not for the urban elite, for everyone, right? So the next question coming up. Right, what symbol came about? Okay, so you've raised your hand. Have you gotten a chance to answer before? Okay, yeah. Nota. Simple, right? This is nota. Disapproval, right? So this is nota, right? After the Supreme Court judgment, this symbol was kind of made. None of the above. I don't want to, elect any of the candidates that are there in the roster. Right, and the last question, this must have been an easy one for all of you to work out. In fact, I'll just use my discretion and make an exception. There's also a student here, so I'll give it to her. Yeah?
Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India.
Absolutely right. So this is Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India, decriminalizing of Section 377.
Someone who understands me, who shares my life, and who I love very much. But we had to hide our love, like it wasn't love at all. और वैलेंटाइंस डे सिर्फ इस बात का एक रिमाइंडर था पर इस साल इट्स गोइंग टू बी डिफरेंट हम लोग वो सारी स्टूपिड रोमांटिक चीजें करने वाले हैं जो लोग वैलेंटाइंस डे पे करते हैं रोजेस बलून्स गिफ्ट्स और हाँ एक खास कैंडललिट डिनर
Right, those were... Yeah, we're ready to roll out the finals. I think the team is just kind of correcting it again to ensure there's no discrepancy. We also wanted to, call out teams which just missed out as well. So we will announce that at the time of prize distribution for the prizes. So the team just missed out also gets a small token of goodie from the team. Okay, so just give us a moment. We will quickly switch screens, get ready with the scores. Anuj Kapoor and C. George Thomas, who will be on stage, and they made it through their online round. On team 8, right, yeah, you can please walk up and take a place. The next team to make it on from the online round, please give it up for Jayesh, Undi Krishnan, Faisal, and Kavya. A huge round of applause for them. Right? The next team to make it through the online round, can we please give it up for Kartike Agarwal, Shubh Chakravarti, and Ankur Agraj. Huge round of applause for them. Now to the teams from today's preliminary round. Teams which make it. Can we give it up for Mohini, Rajan, and Sanchit? Mohini, Rajan, and Sanchit makes it to the finals. Calling themselves next on stage, Twin Test, Kshitij and Ankush Rai. So 2 of them making it to the finals. It's quite random, so you can take it up. Next team to get qualified on stage, please give it up for Motilal Nehru Marg, as they call it, Prithvi and Sayan. Prithvi and Sayan make it to the finals. Next team from Motilal Nehru Marg, we have Tilak Marg, Mukund, Manish, and Prajwal making it on stage. And the last team to make it on stage, I know all of you are waiting in bated breath. Please give it up for the team which calls themselves Aj, Jaidev, Animesh, and Abhishek, who also make it on stage. So these are our finalist teams. Oh, please, Pranjay. Right, so these are our finalists. If I may request all the audience to please come forward so that it's visible, and if you guys are like fine, just so that you take the first few seats here, right? And as we get our finalists up on stage, I'll quickly do a round of introductions of the finalists to also check if the mics are working, and we will kickstart the finals. Right. I'll let you guys know after the finals, right? Okay, so on team 1, if you can introduce yourselves to the audience, right? Please use the mic and kindly introduce.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Team 1, if you can introduce yourselves.
I'm Jayesh Unnikrishnan. I'm an advocate on record practicing here.
I am Faisal CK, Deputy Law Secretary, Government of Kerala.
I'm Kavya Jhawar, advocate practicing at the Supreme Court.
Wonderful. Can we please give it up for Team 1, a combination of lawyers and civil servants. All the best wishes to you. Moving on to Team 2.
Hi, I'm Kartike. I am very young. I recently graduated in 2024. I'm an associate at Sirana Merchant Mangaldas.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Ankur. I passed out law in 2021 and I practice.
Right, so practicing advocates and a corporate lawyer combined is on Team 2. A huge round of applause. And if you can introduce yourself as well.
Hi, my name is Shweb. I work with Kartike at the same firm and really looking forward to it.
Oh, fantastic. That's Team 2. I know that most participants here are going to really have some exercise to do to reach out to the mic. You have to really bend down. So I hope you can do, but we just had to manage with the space. Over to Team 3.
Hi, this is Animesh, Abhishek, and Jaidev. We're all from the National Law School, graduated 2018.
Right, so we have NLS graduates. If you want to just introduce us to what you guys are doing now.
Animesh is in the audit service, Abhishek practices in Delhi, and I'm in the Indian Embassy.
Right, so we have civil servants and part of, advocate of the Supreme Court. Can we have a huge round of applause for Team 3? And now to Team 4.
Hi, I'm Shayon and this is Prithvi. We are both clerking at the Supreme Court of India.
So wonderful. We have two team members in Team 4. All the very best lawyers from the Supreme Court. Moving on to Team 5.
Hi, I'm Mohini. I'm an advocate on record at the Supreme Court of India. And
I am Rajan Raj. I am an advocate at the Supreme Court of India from 2002 NLS.
Wonderful.
Hi, this is Sanchit. I am an advocate on record in the Supreme Court.
So, advocate on records here on Team 5. All the very best to you folks. Team 6, we go this way. So, Team 6.
I am advocate on record at Supreme Court of India.
Wonderful.
Mukund, advocate.
Hi, I am Pranjal. I am also an advocate in Delhi.
Wonderful. So, just a note for the participant, this can be moved closer to yourself. So, if you want, just move it closer to yourself instead of bending down the mic itself. The mic itself can be moved closer to you if you want to. Yeah, much better. And on Team 7.
Hi, I'm Ankush. I'm a technology law lawyer. I work at PLR Chambers.
I'm Kshitij. I practice law in Delhi.
Right, we have 2 lawyers from Delhi on Team 7. All the very best for Team 7. And move to Team 8.
Hi, is this working?
Yeah.
I'm Aditi and this is Anuj. We are both AORs in practicing in the Supreme Court.
Right, advocates on record from the Supreme Court of India complete a roundup of the finalists. So can we all wish them the very best as we pick action with the North Zone final. Right, so for some reason, I'm just trying to see if the screen's freezing. Can we just get that up and running? Right, as we get that sorted, just to give you all a sense, it'll be a 5-round finals. And in the 5 rounds, the first 2 rounds will be direct rounds. And the last 3 rounds will be on the buzzer. So we will get the buzzers also switched on all the tables. So let's also check the buzzers, right? So we'll get the buzzers on, right? And no, we'll go directly to the audience. I'll explain that to all of you, right? So we'll just keep the buzzers on, right? So let's just keep the buzzers on for the purpose of the teams. I'll tell you why this is important. Okay. Don't worry. We'll have to refresh it for everybody's buzzers to work. So just it'll not work now. Relax. It'll not work. We'll have to refresh it for everybody else to work. Right? Right. So I'm just trying to see. I don't know why the screen is freezing and my pointer on this one is not working specifically. Let's get the buzzers on. By then my team can just quickly figure out. Right? So teams. Team 1, if you can press the buzzer and we can just check the buzzers as we go along. Hold on. Oh, they buzzed. So it's a circuit breaker buzzer. If any of the other teams presses the buzzer, your light will not light up. So it's a circuit breaker. The fastest fingers first is the one. So we have refreshed, right? It's refreshed. Let's have team 1 press the buzzer, please. It's working. Let's refresh. Team 2, it's working, right? Okay, let's refresh. Team 3, it's working. Yeah, you want to check. Okay, 1 minute. Team 4 has pressed it. It's working. Let's refresh. You want to check the other one. It's working. Perfect. Right? Team 5, if you can press the buzzer. It's working. Team 6, if you can. Just a second. Hold on. Right. So at the same time when you press the buzzers, the first one who pressed it goes out. So, yeah, it's working. Team 7. Okay. It's working, perfect. And team 8, just a second, let's refresh it. It's working. So all the buzzers are working and all the 2 buttons are also working. Now we're ready to start off the finals. The quiz would have not been possible if not for the generosity of the senior advocates of the Supreme Court of India mentioned here, starting off with Mr. Arvind Dattar, Mr. Chandra Uday Singh, Mr. Dama Sheshadri Naidu, Mr. Usaifa Ahmadi, Mr. Jaideep Gupta, Ms. Madhvi Diwan, Ms. Meenakshi Arora, Mr. Nakul Diwan, Mr. Raju Ramchandran, Mr. Rana Mukherjee, Ms. Rebecca John, Mr. Sanjay Hegde, Mr. Siddharth Luthra, and Dr. S. Muralidhar sir. So I think a huge round of applause for them to really kind of supporting such an initiative for the legal fraternity. Right, a zonal partner, the Indian Society of International Law, who've been gracious to provide this auditorium. And the media partner being LiveLaw. The quiz is also being live streamed. So if you have friends, family who are looking at the quiz, you can inform them. And supporting partner is the National Foundation for India. 9,000, 6,000 and 3,000 and goodies bags for all the finalist teams here. And this is what's at stake for the grand finale. 1,75,000 and 50,000. Now, structure of the quiz, I think I gave you a sense. We start off with what we call the Potpourri round, and then we move on to a listed round, and then the last 3 rounds of the quiz will be on the buzzer. Right? I'll explain each of the rules of each of the round when we get there. So the first round of the quiz, right? Yeah. We can switch off the light for the purposes of the quiz. I know the visibility might be really off. I appreciate that. Right. So also we are on a little bit of a tight timeline. So usually we do an infinite pounce, but this time we're doing what is called a first strike. I'll explain that. Wishing you all the very best, and that's our mascot Cutie also wishing you the best. We start out with what we call the Potpourri round. In this round, we have close to 8 questions, which will be on infinite bounds. For those of you who do not know what infinite bounds is, let's say the question starts with team 1, and they pass, and team 2 answers it. The next question goes to team 3. It bounces from the team which answered it, right? Very simple. Next, so I'll tell you. So the next one is we start clockwise and we go in that order from team 1 to team 8 plus 20 for a direct or a pass. And there is no negative when it's on a direct, right? So it's common 20 points whether you take it on a direct or a pass. No negatives there, but there is first strike. Now just listen to this rule very quickly. If within the first 10 seconds of me reading out the question or the question coming up, if you think you know the answer, you can press the buzzer and indicate to me that you know the answer. Only one team can do this, right? It's a first strike, right? And you need to write down the answer on the sheet provided to you, right? And I will come and see the answer. If you get it right, you get plus 20. If you get it wrong, you get a minus 20. Okay? The reason why we are doing that is, again, on time. Usually we do a pounce where everybody who knows the answer can raise their hand, but we just want to quickly, be able to address the fact. We do this because sometimes team 6 might know the answer, but they might not get the opportunity to answer on a pass. So here is an opportunity. If you think you know the answer, you can buzz and go for it. But note, it's a plus 20 if you get it right, minus 20 if you get it wrong. 1. 2, please do not shout out the answer. Right? Please write it down. Raise your hand. I'll see the buzzers and I'll come and see the answers. So please do not shout out the answer. And the third rule, if there are 2 parts to the question, you need to get both the parts right on first strike. If you get only one part right, unfortunately, you'll get a minus 20. So keep that in mind, right? No. That will be on the mic. That will continue, right? Yes. First strike, that's right. The team which buzzes first, right? No, I'll tell you why, because I need to complete the quiz on time, because we are running on a little bit of a leash, right? 8 questions. Yeah. Of course. Not following question, that question. Correct. So that round you've got an opportunity to answer, only that. Okay? Okay, just a second. Yes? If you can use the mic and ask that so that audience also know about it.
Question 1. Team 2 has gone for the first.
Use the mic.
Yeah. Question 1. Before it's answered by team 1, team 2 has gone for it on the first strike.
Correct.
They've got it, not got it, whatever that may be.
Correct.
Then the actual question on the mic
starts from team 1 and goes to team 3 if they don't answer right.
If team 1 answers it, team 2 gets the next question regardless?
Yeah, next question goes to the team 3. That's done. That round is done. Yeah.
So the first strike is irrespective of the turn. So the written answer will be also considered in jiska turn.
Turn, correct. Correct. So there are 2 opportunities to go for it. To make it fair. 2 teams has an opportunity to get marks at that time. Yeah. Right? So that's first strike. We'll start off. I think we've given enough of clarifications. Now for the first question coming up on the screen, and that's for team 1. Right, so US Democratic Representative here, Mark Pocan, is introducing, it's already somebody else bust, a bill to ban special government employees from securing federal contracts to prevent conflicts of interest. The bill is called Eliminate Looting of Our Nation by Mitigating Unethical State Kleptocracy. What is the bill popularly known as? Right, so I have one team which went for it on first strike. So I'll ask them to write the answer very quickly. I'll check their answers. And I've seen their answers. Direct to team 1. What is this bill popularly known as? If you can use the mic.
Nepotism Act.
Nepotism Act. Moving on to team 2.
So we'll go with Elon Musk because E-L-O-N-M-U-S-K. So Elon
That's
Musk.
the right answer. Very good. So this is called the Elon Musk Act. But if you notice here, eliminate E-L-O-N-M-U-S-K. Right? So this is Elon Musk Act. That's the right answer. Very good. So this is the Elon Musk Act. And a good 20 points to team 2. And team 3 also cracked it on the first strike. 20 points to you folks as well. Right? So both of them have gotten 20 points. Now, since team 2 has gotten it right, the next question comes to team 3. Your direct on the screen, right? Here it is. P.V. Keskar was elected to the Constituent Assembly. 1 minute. Request, sir. Request. So, hello. Sir, request you to kindly, B.V. Keskar was elected to the Constituent Assembly from United Provinces. After independence, he was later elected as the Minister for Information and Broadcasting during 1952 to 1957. He was a devotee of classical Indian music and worked towards its revival through radio. As a minister, he banned popular film music on the radio because he believed that they lacked respect for high culture. He also banned the use of the harmonium for being an adaptation of the foreign musical instrument. What else did he take down, discontinue from the radio because he felt that it was a colonial, India's unfortunate colonial past, right? So, Mr. B.V. Keskar, a man known for banning quite a few things, right? What did he ban, right? And it was, according to him, a colonial hangover, right? So I have team 8, which is taken on first strike. Request you to kindly write it down. Okay, so I've seen their answer. And the direct was to team 3, if you have any guesses. And this was discontinue something from the radio.
Cricket commentary.
So you're saying cricket commentary was a colonial pastime and you wanted to ban it. I'll give it to you. That's the right answer. Cricket commentary, which was very popular on the radio, right? So plus 20, good crack on is team 3. And team 8, they had a very good guess. Unfortunately, a minus 20. They said BBC Bulletin, but not quite. But this is specifically cricket commentary. They have a negative minus 20. Right? So the next question coming up on the screen is to team 4. Get ready. Let's refresh the buzzers. Let's refresh the buzzers. And here is the question. I'll probably come off to the side so that I don't obstruct the view of the finalists or the audience. Right? So this is cricket commentary. Good answer. Next question. Okay. Andrew Dixon White, an American historian and educator who co-founded Cornell University, played a key role in establishment of this institution. He secured $1.5 million or 50 million today from Scottish American steel magnate Andrew Carnegie to fund this construction. Watch the video showcasing gifts from various countries to this institution. Identify the institution. So I'll play the video.
For example, the 4 stained glass windows produced by the Scottish artist Douglas Strachan were a gift from the United Kingdom. In addition, a large painting by the French artist Albert Besnard entitled Paix par la justice, Peace through Justice.
Okay, looks like team 3 has gone for it. I'll quickly check their answers. It's a direct to team 4, right? So we'll quickly check their answers. Okay, so we've seen their answer, and the direct was to team 4. Yes? Yeah, the mic will not work because they pressed it first, and therefore, right? Fastest finger first. Right, team 4. Yes? Use the mic and just pull it to yourself, closer to you. Yeah?
Is it Carnegie Mellon? Is it Carnegie Mellon?
Carnegie Mellon. Moving on to team 5. Any guesses?
Smithsonian Institution.
Smithsonian Institute. Moving on to team 6. Use the mic.
Is it George Washington Museum?
They're saying the George Washington Museum.
Is it the Carnegie Endowment Fund?
Carnegie Endowment Fund. Over to team 8. Guggenheim Museum. Moving to team 1. Wow. I'm listening to my own self. It's a little weird, but sure. Right? Any guesses? Okay. Any guess? Team 1? Okay. Choose to pass? Pass? Okay. Team 2? I need an answer. It's on a pass.
Gifted it to Nobel Institution. Nobel Institution in Stockholm.
The Nobel Institute in Stockholm. All good quality answers in the finals. Audience. It's rather fitting that this question is asked. Good, not quite. That's the right answer. ICJ, the International Court of Justice. Right? So this is the ICJ, and ICJ has gifts from many nation states.
Judicial
right?
organ of
So
the
this is
United
ICJ.
Nations. The seat of the court is at the Peace Palace in The Hague, the Netherlands. Of the 6 main organs of the United Nations, it is the only one not located in New York. Established in June 1945 by the Charter of the United Nations, the court began work in April 1946. The court's role is to settle, in accordance with international law, legal disputes.
Right. This is the International Court of Justice in Pvt Palace. A very good answer. I think he deserves an audience prize. Request you to kindly raise your hand so that the team can come and give you the special edition calendar of the founding mothers. So if he's raised his hand, right? Good answer there. Right. So the next question. So unfortunately a -20 to team 3, which guessed Smithsonian Institute. So looks like team 5 and team 3 had the same guess on them. Right? The next question it comes back to team 4 because no one answered it, and they get 2 consecutive questions, and after the second question, if you get consecutive, I move on to the next team. Right? Your direct coming up on the screen, all of you. Here it is. Okay? Yeah. A 1995 Hollywood crime thriller featuring Courtney Cox and a 2023 Malayalam courtroom drama directed by Jeetu Joseph share an intriguing narrative element. In both films, the legal proceedings take an unexpected turn when the central victim, despite a significant physical limitation, provides a crucial breakthrough that challenges conventional expectations of witness testimony. What is this pivotal plot detail that connects the 2 films? Right? I'm going to show you the image of and I think team 6 has gone for it on the first strike. I mean, this is just to give you some sense of, to make up a story of the plot narrative. Right? So if you can just...
What was the question?
Yeah, let me go back to the question. So both these films have a plot element which is similar, right? And it provides, like, it's an anomaly, but it still had such a unconventional way of witness testimony that both these films showed. So they've already answered. they took the pounds first, right? And the direct is to team 4. Your direct, over to you. Let's refresh the buzzers.
The witness is blind.
Yes.
And deaf.
And
dumb.
like just.
And dumb.
So what was the element of plot detail that worked? I need a little more. Okay, because they were what else? Use the mic.
They witnessed the crime scene. They witnessed the crime scene, of course. Like, I mean,
okay.
They were narrating the crime scene during this thing, and there might have been limitations to their narration.
Okay. Okay, understood. So I've taken your answer. Moving on to team 5. Any guesses? Paraplegic. Good thinking. Team 6 went for a first strike. Team 7. Use the mic.
I think the witness was blind and they were able to give the testimony despite that, because they were able to say other senses, they used the other senses to understand what happened, and they were sort of there at the event when it happened. Say a murder happened and a blind witness was there, and they were able to hear it and then give testimony basis that during a courtroom trial.
Okay. No? So, is there anything more you want to say?
Were they the murderers, or like were they the ones who committed the crime?
Oh, they were the murderers or the ones who committed the crime. Moving on to team 8. Use the mic.
They were blind. The witnesses in both these films were blind, and it is on their testimony alone that a conviction was arrived at by the trial court.
Okay.
So, conviction premised on the testimony of a blind witness as the predominant material which is incriminating.
Incriminating. Okay. Understood. Moving on to team 1.
The victim identifies the culprit by making a sculpture of the criminal, and by touching the face of the so-called criminal.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, but I will actually take part points because they were the first who said both the witnesses were blind. So you get 10 points, and you get the other 10 points for getting that element right, because the way they manifested was actually they sketched it. In one movie he sketches it, and the other movie creates the sculpture, right? So that's the element that we're looking for. I'll tell you, team 4 gets 10 points. Team with a good crack gets 10 points, right? So, right, and team 6 cracks it with a good 20 points. I'll give it to you. 20 points is what they had given. Okay, so this is, sketch artist, and I think this is called a movie. Nera, yeah. Okay, so these were the 2 movies, and the victim essentially created a sketchwork and a sculpture in the Malayalam film. Okay, next question coming up, and this will be a direct to team 2. Right, thanks for the cue. Right, the next question on the screen. Right. Okay, so looks like they were the first to go. Is team 6 went for it. Jogendranath Mandal was a key figure in the establishment of the modern state, right, of modern state of Pakistan, and a follower of Dr. Ambedkar. Together, they founded the Bengal branch of the Scheduled Castes Federation. Mandal played a crucial role in securing Ambedkar's election in the Constituent Assembly from Bengal in 1946, when Ambedkar faced challenges in securing a seat from Bombay. Mandal's influence extended to framing of the Constitution of India, where Ambedkar sought his advice on matters relating to the constitutional process. Intriguingly, Mandal and Ambedkar, both from the Dalit community, shared the distinction of being certain firsts, albeit in different contexts. What first is being referred to here? Right? So, team First team to pounce was team 6. I'll quickly check their answers. Okay, so I've seen their answer, and the direct was to team 2. Yes.
So like both of them were the first law ministers. Mandal was the first law minister of Pakistan. Dr. Ambedkar was the first law minister of India.
I'll give it to you. That's the right answer. The first law minister of India was, of course, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And the first law minister of Pakistan was Jogendranath Mandal, who was a dear friend of Ambedkar, and he also contributed to the constitution-making process of India through a variety of letters that Ambedkar used to send to Mr. Jogendranath Mandal. Very, very good answer from team 2, and team 6 also cracks it, and they get themselves good 20 points. So both of them cracking it. So this is first law ministers, respectively, of Pakistan and of India. Okay, next question coming up on the screen for all of you. Right, question number 6. Right, let's refresh the buzzers. Yeah, okay. Okay, it's refreshed. Do I have any team? A long-standing tradition of the US Senate was to use an hourglass-shaped instruments made of ivory. However, in 1954, Richard Nixon broke one during a heated debate on nuclear energy. Unable to procure a similar piece, an appeal was made to the Indian embassy for the required materials. What was later presented by Vice President S. Radhakrishnan to the US Senate is the question. So, anyone who have pounced or first strike? I'm just looking at, look, that's the photo. That's the photo. And looks like they've pounced. Okay, so I'll quickly check their answers. Team 2 has pounced and gone for a first strike. Quickly check. You need to tell us what was. They don't have an answer, but I need an answer because you've gone for a first strike. Is that your answer? Okay, so I've taken their answer, and the direct was to, in fact, I think, to team 3.
Yeah, so
you can please use the mic and answer.
Yeah, elephant. So I think this is an early thing of animal diplomacy.
Animal diplomacy. They sent an elephant. Moving on to team 4. Any guesses?
Can I ask for a clarification?
I'll see if I can give you an answer on that, though.
Is the answer there in the question? Like, is there a hint in the question?
No, of course there is. There's always a hint in the question for you to work out an answer. Right?
He gave a tusk. Gave a tusk.
Gave a tusk. Right? Not quite. Moving on to team 5. Advocates on record from the Supreme Court. Sundial was gifted by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. Not quite. Moving on to team 6. Since it's a pass, I need to be a little quick. Okay. Any answers? You choose to pass. Moving on to team 7.
Just wanted to ask, is that the picture the answer? What indicate?
There are there's a clue there, right? There's a clue there.
That's Ashoka's pillar. I don't know.
Ashoka's.
The Ashoka Stham, the
Ashoka Stham, the Ashoka pillar was something that was gifted. Understood. Moving on to team 8.
Is it sandalwood?
Is it sandalwood? Okay. Moving on to team 1.
It is an official seal used in the Senate.
Official seal used in the Senate, and team they pounced and was directed to team 3. Anyone in the audience, if you want to take a crack at it. So lots of clues. It was made of ivory. It was used in the Senate. In an angry spell, Mr. Nixon broke it, and they could not procure it anywhere. So they came back as a request for the Indian embassy. Yes? A gavel made of ivory which went from India to the US Senate. That's the right answer. And looks like the team which made a first strike, they were very unsure of the answer. They got it right. And if you look closely here, it's the gavels, Ivory. This one sort of clues there in the question for you to work out. Very good answer from team 2, 20 points. And yeah, if you can introduce yourself as well. They are actually law students who have come to witness the quiz. So if you can please hand over the mic. Yeah, go ahead.
Right, so this is Rahul Gulati. I just gave CLAT this year, like last year in December.
Okay,
So
fantastic to have you as part of the quiz. And yourself?
My name is Bhavika and I am currently a first year student at Venkateshwar College, Delhi University.
Fantastic. So really glad to see you participate in a quiz. Hopefully you will be here in a couple of years, right? Okay, so this was the gavels. Right, next question. Yeah. Yeah, plus 20 is given. They're on, right? Yeah, team 2 is on plus 20. The next question is direct to team 3. Your direct coming up on the screen. All of you. Right. So, Tajamul Hussain, a barrister and member of the Constituent Assembly from Bihar, proposed an amendment to the Article 19 of the draft constitution. Believing that religion was a personal matter between an individual and God, he argued that in civilized places like Europe and United States, a certain uniformity made identifying one's religion unnecessary. In the interest of secularism and national integration, he suggested that Indians adopt this practice. His amendment, however, was unanimously rejected. What did he propose in the Constituent Assembly is the question, right? So, team which pounced was team 6. If I can quickly have your answer. Okay, so need an answer quickly. And other teams, you'll be starting from team 3. Okay, they went for a first strike and now they're under pressure. Okay, so I've seen their answer, and now to team 3. A team of citizens, an advocate from the Supreme Court.
Dropping last names that
indicate religion and so on. Okay, moving on to team 4. Use the mic, please use the mic.
No costumes displaying one's religion. It's headgears, maybe.
Headgears. So, so that everybody uses a headgear. Okay, moving on to team 5.
Is this the uniform civil code? The uniform.
Uniform civil code. Okay, moving on to team 7.
So, like,
use the mic.
Yeah, did he suggest that when someone takes oath, they don't say the words in the name of God?
Okay, so when you take oath, not to say in the name of God and so on. Moving on to team 8.
No religious instructions in schools.
No religious instruction in schools. All very good quality answers from the finalists.
Holding religious scriptures like Bible or Quran for making testimonies in court.
Okay, so holding Quran or Bible or holy scriptures when they're swearing in and so on. Moving on to team 2.
Given that he thought religion is between God and yourself, he didn't want state involved. So he wanted the entire concept of religious freedom outside of the ambit of constitution. So state has no role because it's between you and God.
Okay, very good, well thought out answer, but not quite, right? And the direct was to team 3. Anyone in the audience? So, in fact, the Constituent Assembly debates are interesting as it gets, with very, very unique suggestions that were made by the founding mothers and fathers of our Constitution. One was this, but of course not followed, to take away any form of distinction. In fact, it was a little bit of a radical idea. What did Mr. Tajamul Hussain recommend, but it was not taken by the Constituent Assembly, right? In fact, a lot of their answers were close. The right answer was that, in fact, he recommended that all of Indians had a uniform, right? He said all of Indians should have a uniform, right? But that, like uniform attire, dress for people so that religion may not be identified. So uniform would have been the thing, right? In fact, right? So I think he was referring to, I think, some parts of this one. But yeah, so he said, like in schools and colleges, can we have uniform for all citizens of India? But that was not followed. Some of you came close to that idea, right? So I just want to be careful because the specific answer was not given. So I'll kind of not give points to anybody. But this is what I was looking for. The next question coming up on the screen and pounced. And unfortunately, a minus 20 to team 7. They have a minus 20, right? To team 6. Right? Oh, team 8, truly like their antennas going up. Sorry, my bad. Team 6 gets a minus 20, and I think team 8 is safe. Right, direct, good question. Since no one answered, and team 3 was the direct for you folks, and you not had 2 consecutive. Have you had consecutive 2 ones? It comes to team 4. Right, your direct coming up on the screen, all of you. Right, this legal drama series, streaming on Amazon Prime, follows 2 young lawyers with contrasting ideologies, one an idealist fighting for the underprivileged and the other a rising star of a top law firm. Praised for his authentic courtroom proceedings and case of AI-driven justice, copyright battles, and corporate ethics, the show was created by a filmmaker whose father was a famous senior advocate and doyen of the bar. Name this legal drama series, 1 part, and the second part, famous father of the creator. Okay, I'm going to play the video, just a small snippet from the series.
14 साल के बाद तो उम्र कैद की सजा भी पूरी हो जाती है। हम अभी तक लटके हुए हैं।
क्लोज केस दोबारा ओपन किया जा रहा है क्योंकि सरकार बदल गई है। दीपक केस जीतने के लिए कुछ भी कर सकता है।
अल्लाह ये मामला खत्म करवाओ फटाफट।
My father received a threat letter about the Bhalla murder case.
This is unacceptable.
Right. So small snippet from the trailer. Right. So 2 parts to the question. So team which pounced, I need both the parts right. Both the parts right. Very acclaimed for taking up themes from everyday legal life. I need an answer for now. Okay? Okay? Right. I've seen their answers. And the direct is to team 4. Your direct?
So the show's name is Legal Minds.
Yes?
The show's name is Legal Minds.
Okay.
So for the second part, like is it negative marking?
No. It's a direct, so no negative marking. Justice Ahmadi. Moving on to team 5.
Tigmanshu Dhulia.
Good guess, not quite. Moving on to team 6.
Shanti Bhushan and Guilty Minds.
I'll give it to you. That's the full answer. This was Ms. Shefali Bhushan, who was the director of this series, Guilty Minds, and of course, daughter of noted senior advocate of the Supreme Court and former law minister of the country, Mr. Shanti Bhushan. So good 20 points to team 6, and heart goes out for team 2. They got 1 part right and the other part wrong. They get a minus 20. So first strike, you need to get both the parts right. I made that rule clear. Hard luck, right? And they were very close. They said legal minds, but there's a guilty mind, right? So that's the, that's our last question of this particular round. Now we move on to the next round, which is called the listed, right? Yeah. So we'll run the scores. We'll come to the scores after 2 rounds, just so that you have like a set of data points. Now for the listed round, I'll just move away from the screen so that all of you are able to see the screen. But you got a first, and 8 questions was given to all of you, right? Okay. So now for this listed round, each of you will be shown a grid. It will be 1 question per team, right? Teams, request you to kindly focus on the rules here. Each team gets one grid of 9 elements, out of which 6 elements are right and part of a set, and 3 elements are not part of the set. You need to identify the right 6 elements, and we go anti-clockwise. So we start with team 8, right? And plus 5 for each correct answer, which you identify. But here is the catch, and please listen to this carefully. If you get even one answer wrong when identifying the elements, you lose out on the game. Say, I want to stop. So you know these many elements, you want to say, I want to stop it, I don't want to continue also. Right? So I'll run a very quick one with the audience. So you need to, on the mic. Right? There's no pass, 1 question per team. 1 question per team. And we start with team 8. Right? So before that, an audience question for all of you to just get a sense of how the round looks. So here it is. So example question. So women constituent assembly members, if I were to give this question, what would be your answers? If we can pass on the mic to anybody here who wants to take a crack at it, right? And the timer has started. We'll give you a 5 seconds headway and we start the timer. Anyone wants to take a crack at it? Identifying it? Right? Okay, so they want to give a chance. If you can give a chance to them. Right, so just identify whichever you think is right. Yes, sir.
Aruna Asaf Ali.
Aruna Asaf Ali, unfortunately, was the wrong answer. Aruna Asaf Ali was not part of the Constituent Assembly, right?
Sarojini Naidu.
Sarojini Naidu was?
Vijay Lakshmi Pandit.
Vijay Lakshmi Pandit also was?
Annie Besant.
Annie Besant wasn't, unfortunately. So what will happen is Annie Mascarin was, Annie Besant wasn't. Right? So anyone wants to take crack at the others? Yes, sir? Ammu Swaminathan would have been right.
Then Purnima Banerjee.
Purnima Banerjee is a fantastic answer.
Last one is Renuka.
Renuka Ray. Fantastic. So I think a huge round of applause for the gentlemen. So if you can introduce yourself. You can use the mic.
I'm Venkatesh, a civil servant.
Oh, fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for making it here. So this is, I think, a good round of applause to sir for sportively taking it and answering almost all the elements. So, for the benefit of all of you.
Is there a bonus for full house?
No, no. Full 30 points at stake. So you want to keep parity amongst rounds. So please note, when you're giving the answer, please use the mic and tell me go to identify the right elements, right? So, yeah, you have 1 minute totally, and you need to answer within that.
We have to start answering after...
No, just that whole 1 minute is for you to answer. You can stop the round at any time, saying, I only know 2 answers right. Okay? So, yes, no, this is 1 question per team.
So, if you give 2 answers, you get 10 points.
10 points. And you can stop the game at that if you want to. Okay? So, let's begin. Teams, request you to kindly cooperate in the finals. We'll start out. The first question is to team 8 in your direct grid coming up on the screen. Actually, let me try to just go away so that I don't block anybody's view. I'll stand here so that I can see clearly. Please speak to the mic. Your grid coming up on the screen now. Countries with codified or written constitutions. Right? No buzzer, it's only for that team, team 8. Timer has started.
US.
US.
Germany.
Germany. Say go. Please say go. We have 10 points.
Australia.
Australia. 15 points.
Canada.
Oh, Canada is not fully codified. Hard luck. Still has written conventions and so on. You should have just stopped at that. You would have gotten 15 points. Hard luck, but for no points, you want to take a crack for the rest? If you use the mic, please.
Sweden and Japan.
Sweden and Japan would have been right.
And Israel.
Israel also has written conventions and not codified specifically. Of course, Spain and United Kingdom famously has written conventions, right? So hard luck, team 8. Just a little more breather and go ahead for it next time. Okay, next question is to team 7. You folks are ready? So no points on team 8. Team 7, you're direct on the... Please use the mic, say go. Here it comes. Question number 2. Measures implemented by the E Committee of the Supreme Court of India. Right? 45 seconds.
Yeah. Go. E-Lok Adalat.
E-Lok Adalat. Oh, unfortunately, not something that the E Committee specifically has come up with. Oh, hard luck. Do you guys want to give us any other elements for no points?
Yeah, so e-filing, I am sure, should be there.
E-filing?
Yeah, then e-judges roster, maybe? No?
Not quite. There isn't a e-judges roster. In fact, you can now identify the one which is not part of it, and we'll probably get the whole set.
I think National Judicial Data Grid may not be there.
National Judicial Data Grid is initiated and there. Okay, right? Now for very quickly, you want to give out the other elements?
I think e-Seva.
E-Seva Kendras are there.
Judgment search portal.
Yeah,
Judgment search portal is also there.
I think National Crime Records.
National Crime Records check is not there, right? So in fact, you could have eliminated perhaps the ones that you think could have not yet been implemented. So the others are available. So that's the measures implemented by the E Committee, right? Hard luck on the first one. Moving on to team 6. Are you folks ready? Yeah, please use the mic when you answer, because all of us need to listen to your answers. Your question coming up on the screen now. Amendments to the US Constitution, right? Or through amendments, these were introduced. There have been very few amendments also.
So we'll start with right to keep and bear arms.
Right to keep and bear arms, 5 points.
Self-incrimination and double jeopardy.
Self-incrimination and double jeopardy. Yes, 10 points.
Hmm?
15 seconds.
We'll decide.
You choose to stop at this stage. I think really well played. Can we give it up for team 6? They get themselves 10 points. And now for no points, if you can answer. A long ring of bell. Yes. If you use the mic, please.
Involuntary servitude.
So you're saying permits involuntary servitude as punishment for crime. That would have been right.
Rights not enumerated are retained by the people.
That would have been also right. Yeah, it's always a little bit of a heartburn afterwards. But you want to give out last 2 guesses?
Jury trial in civil suits.
Right to jury trial in civil suits. Property, right to property would have been the wrong answer in that. But I think they played it really well. Can we have a huge round of applause for team 6? Right? So I think the other ones, if you can just go to right to petition the government. Right? So I think we have, so those were the right answers, right? So good going, and they get themselves 10 points. Right? 10 points. Okay. Next question coming up on the screen, all of you, and this is to team 5. If you folks are ready, here it comes. Please use the mic and answer. Dismiss state governments that were heard conjointly in the famous S.R. Bommai versus Union of India.
Karnataka.
Karnataka, 5 points.
Rajasthan.
Rajasthan, 10 points.
Madhya Pradesh.
Madhya Pradesh, 15. "15 seconds more to go." You want to stop at this stage. So well played. 15 points to team 5 for that effort. Any more guesses very quickly if you want to tell us? Jammu, Kashmir would have been a negative. Kerala was not. So now you're choosing the ones that are not part of the set. Assam, also not. I think that was a good kind of hat trick on the ones which were not. Good going. But these were the Nagaland, Meghalaya and Himachal were part of the petition. So that's the answer we were looking for. Good 15 points to team 5. Now moving on to team 4. Are you folks ready? Right? So I'll quickly try to come here so that I can see you guys. So team, if you're ready, let's start off to question number 5 to team 4. Books authored or co-authored by noted senior advocate Ram Jethmalani. So 60 seconds. "40 seconds has started. So 40 seconds left. Team 4.
Maverick, Unchanged, Unrepentant.
Maverick, Unchanged, Unrepentant is right. Good 5 points.
Judiciary Made to Measure.
Right, so we have Judiciary Made to Measure. Oh, unfortunately, that was the wrong answer. I think that was a book written by Nani Palkiwala. So hard luck. Right, so very quickly if you want to go take the others.
Big egos and...
Right, so...
Big egos and small men.
Big egos and small men. 5 points.
Conflict of laws.
Conflict of laws.
India's priceless heritage.
India's priceless heritage. Oh, in fact, we had incepted 3 books from Nani Palkiwala there and not from Mr. Ram Jethmalani. And the right answers were Parliamentary Privileges, Law and Practice, Conscience of a Maverick, and Justice Soviet style. Right? So that was the answers we were looking for. Hard luck, Team 4. Right? So, no points. Moving on to Team 3. Are you folks ready? Please use the mic and answer. We'll try to quicken the... Yeah, we'll go quickly. Here comes. Lok Sabha speakers. Okay?
We'll go GV Mavlankar.
Okay, please use the mic and say go.
Yeah, Mavlankar, Sangma.
Wait. We go to GV Mavlankar.
Sangma, Shivraj Patil.
Okay, next is?
Shivraj Patil.
PA
Sangma.
Okay, PA Sangma is 15 points. Please relax and answer. You have more time.
GMC Balayogi.
Okay, please say go. GMC Balayogi.
Just give us 10 seconds. We have the time.
You have time. You have time. Okay, 25 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. The time you asked me for. You're done. Okay, 20 points for team 3. I think they took all kinds of calculations and ensured that they didn't want to go for it. No points. Very quickly, what are the other two you would have probably gone for?
Jeevan Ram is not there. I know it's Ravi Rai and Baibi Chavan.
Ravi Ray and Baibi Chavan wasn't. Right? So, is wrong. And Govind Balpant was also wrong. So G.S. Dillon was the answer, would have been right. So well played, 20 points to team 3. Right, a combination of civil servants and advocates Supreme Court going on that. Next to team 2. Ready? Please use the mic. Good. Your direct grid coming up on the screen. Justices who gave the minority verdict in the Keshananda Bharati versus State of Kerala. Right?
Go A and Ray.
Go A and Ray. So let's go A and Ray. Justice 5 points.
Go Peck. Justice Mirza H. Peck.
Mirza H. Beg.
Justice S.N. Dwivedi. Go.
S.N. Dwivedi. 15 points. Okay, very tough conversations happening in the team, animated as it seems. Okay, you have 8 seconds.
Okay, go KK Matthew.
Go KK Matthew. 20 points, 20 points, and I think time's up on that. Well played, well played.
That's 2.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, because the logic goes, Sikri was the Chief Justice, and he was in the majority. So he can't be. GM Sehlat and Pelekar were skipped. So they gave majority judgments. So KS Hegde and Chandrachud were the other 2 minority judgments.
Okay, that's not the right. So if in case, yeah, Justice KS Hegde in fact was not, it was the other way around. You're right on Justice Y.V. Chandrachud. So you can go to Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, right? And right, Sikri was of course, the majority judgment, and Justice D.J. Palekar was right, right? Right. So these were the minority judgment as part of the famous Keshananda Bharati judgment. Now, okay, you guys get 20 points, right? 20, well done. And team 1, your direct coming up on the screen. Hope you guys are ready. Please use the mic when you answer. Here comes. Pardoning powers of the president. Use the mic.
Reprieve.
You're saying reprieve? You say go reprieve, please. Reprieve. Please press go reprieve.
Reprieve.
Reprieve is 5 points.
Respite.
Respite. 5 points.
Remit.
Remit. Remit. 15.
Pardon.
Pardon. 20 points.
Commute death sentence.
Commute a death sentence. 25.
Suspend. Suspend sentence.
Suspend sentence. Okay, give it to you. So the Deputy Law Secretary of Kerala government really getting it right. So all 30 points on team 1. I think a good round of applause for him. Right? So pardoning powers of the President of India, getting that all right. Well done. Right? With that, we've completed 2 rounds of quizzing and really taking the questions to the audience now. Very quickly, audience, if you can give out the answers for the next couple of questions. Just a second. And I just wanted to also take this moment to kind of, let you all know that the guests of honor for today's function, we have Justice K.V. Vishnathan sir and Justice Vibhu Bakru sir here with us. So really heartened, and thank you so much for making time for for such a unique initiative like a quiz. Right. So next, audience questions to the audience. On March 1st, 1932, the 20-month-old child of this famous personality was abducted from their home in East Amwell, New Jersey for ransom and tragically died in captivity. This crime led the Congress to declare... My mic just went off. So to declare kidnapping a federal offense, so named the personality. So we have Senior Advocate Sanjay Hegde sir taking a crack at this.
Charles Lindbergh.
The famous aviator Charles Lindbergh, in fact, was responsible for the first kidnapping law that came in US. So very, very good answer there, right? So next question coming up, and I think he deserves an audience prize. So coming your way. No, sir. No, but so this is a special edition calendar. We would love to give it to you. Right. Next question coming up on the screen for all of you. In 1966, Constituent Assembly member and minister of Lal Bahadur Shastri's cabinet, Chidambaram Subramaniam, ordered the cricket pitch and the rest of the garden in his Lytton's Delhi house to be dug up. It was to conduct an experiment involving items which were imported from Mexico. The success of this experiment eventually had a huge impact to India. It finally led to him winning the Bharat Ratna in 1997. What experiment was conducted here? Right at the back, if you can introduce yourself as well, that'll be great. If you can.
So I'm Himanshu Yadav. I'm a lawyer based in Delhi. So this is Green Revolution, the high-yielding variety seeds.
The Green Revolution, and he let that experiment happen by allowing Dr. Swaminathan to do that experiment. Green Revolution is right. A very good answer there, right? The first of the experiment, I believe, happened he was an agriculture minister there, and he allowed his Lytton's Delhi garden for the experiment. Right, so next question coming up. Before I can ask that, quick set of scores after 2 rounds of quizzing. This is where the teams stand, and the North Zone scoreboard looks like this. Team 1 at 40 points. Good round of applause for them. Yeah, Team 2 at 60 points. Team 3 at 40. Team 4 at 10 points. Team 5 at 15. Team 6 at a half century at 50. And Team 7 and Team 8. Right? Okay, so, we'll just kind of check that. Team 7 says they are on 0. If you can just check that again. And Team 8 is at -20. They took a small negative on a pounds initially. Right? So that's the scoring. Yeah. No. We have. They are on track. We are on track. Right? We'll just check that again. But we'll check on Team 7. Now for the next set of questions coming up for all of you. Fingers on the buzzer is what the next 3 rounds are going to be. About 15 to 20 minutes of the quiz remaining, because we'll move very quickly, and 360 points at stake. Right? So anybody's game as we pick action for the 3 clues round. In this round, I'll tell you about the rules. The buzzers are tested in the first round, so I'm not going to test the buzzers again. Let's refresh the buzzers, right? And these are the rules. 4 questions in all in this round. 3-part to every question. So we have clue 1, you get a +20 if you get it right, but a -15 if you get it wrong. Clue 2, you get +15 and a -10, right? And clue, please do not, the buzzers have a certain mechanism. Request you to kindly refrain from pressing it otherwise. And clue 3 has a +10, -5, right? Yes? No. Let me explain this. No theme, 1 answer. You'll get 3 clues as clue 1, clue 2, and clue 3. Clue 1, open for all of you. You can press the buzzer and answer. If you get it right, you get a +20. You get it wrong, you get a -15. one attempt per question. If I get a wrong answer, I move on to the next question, right? No other team can go on it again. Yeah? Right? So on that clue alone. So you can again go to the next clue and attempt. Yes? Fingers on the buzzer. The 3 clues round coming up on the screen. Look sharp. Here comes the first question. In 1928, he founded India League to demand total independence of India from the British rule. Okay, we have an answer from team 2 who has gone for it.
Poetically, V.K. Krishna Menon.
And why do you say poetically?
Because this is V.K. Krishna Menon.
Fantastic answer! Fantastic answer. We are at the V.K. Krishna Menon Bhavan at the Indian Society of International Law. He was a barrister who represented Udham Singh in the trial of the killing of Michael Dwyer for the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. He practiced, interestingly, as a senior advocate in the Supreme Court, which V.R. Krishna Iyer goes on to say it was great human causes, not petty problems. Find the jurist in him. He is halting in humdrum areas, but heroic in the higher values of our legal political system. That's quite poetic, so to say.
Would that be appropriate to recount the resolutions that have been passed?
And that was Mr. V.K. Krishna Menon's famous speech, right, in the UN Security Council, where he had one of the longest speeches, so to say, right? What was also fascinating was that he was an editor for Penguin Books while he was in UK, right? So this is V.K. Krishna Menon, a cracker of an answer from Team 2 and plus 20 on that. Next question coming up on the screen. Fingers on the buzzer. Clue 1 of question 2. Here it comes. The convention was co-founded in the late 1960s by Iskander Firoz, former Iranian environment minister. Question 2, Team 3 has gone for it. So fabulous answer. This is the Ramsar Convention for the protection of wetlands across the world, right? And it happened in this place called Ramsar in Iraq, and that's how Iran, and that's how it gets its name, right? So India has 89 sites protected under this convention. There are over 2,500 sites across the world. And recently, the Supreme Court directed authorities to fast-track the identification and protection of these Nandur, Madameshwar, and Lonar Lake, and Thane Creek, where, interestingly, flamingos come near Thane, right? Since we are the signatory of the Ramsar Convention. So Ramsar Convention or sites, I would have given points for both. Good answer is Team 3 on 20 points. Next clue coming up on the screen. Fingers on the buzzers, all of you. Here it comes. After the author's death in 1924, his friend and literary executor Max Brod edited the text for and published it. The original manuscript is held at the Museum of Modern Literature Marbach at Nemkart, Germany. In 1999, the book was listed in La Monde's 100 Books of the Century and as number 2 of the best German novels of the 20th century. The author did not publish it. His literary executor went on to publish it, Max Brod. Anyone taking a crack? Fingers on the buzzer. I need the name of the book or the author. I'll be lenient on that. Next clue coming up on the screen. No one. Oh, Team 1 has gone for it. Plus 20.
Franz Kafka.
And the book?
Book I don't know.
Okay.
Metamorphosis.
Okay. So I'll use my discretion because I said the book, the author also. I'll give it to you. Fantastic answer. This is Franz Kafka, and I think quite apt in a law quiz. The name of the book is The Trial. The Trial, right? It was also made into a movie by Orson Welles and, of course, Joseph K. So I'll give it to you. Franz Kafka, The Trial was what specifically we were looking for, but I had modified it to say I'm okay with the author as well. So that's good 20 points to Team 1. Next question, I think the last of the question of the 3 close round coming up on the screen. Question number 4, fingers on the buzzer. Here it comes. A founding member of the All India Women's Conference. Oh, I have an answer from Team 2. very interestingly, she was part of the freedom movement, and she was part of the Mahatma Gandhiji's 7-member team. And she took the freedom salt to the High Court of Bombay, and she asked if they will buy it or take it.
Margaret Cousins.
Margaret Cousins is a -10, and we move on to the next clue. Let's refresh the buzzers. After partition, she dedicated herself to refugee rehabilitation and was instrumental in the creation of Faridabad. Yes, team 1, I need an answer.
Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay.
Fantastic! Very good. This is Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay, who later went on to be so instrumental in, having chaired the National School of Drama, Sangeet Natak Academy, and the handicrafts, Indian indigenous handicraft movement in India, and so on. Very good answer. Please do not switch off and on the buzzer. Request you to, because when you switch it off, it has to refresh completely. Please press the buzzer once. I just want to ensure it's working. Yeah. Request you to please do not switch on and switch off the buzzers, because it's wireless and you're a little worried if it doesn't work on time, right? Good answer. And that's plus 15 on the second clue. You got that right. So it's plus 15. So this is Srimati Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay. Good, right? So that's the end of our first 3 rounds of quizzing. Now we pick action in the next round, which we call the connect round. 6 questions in all. All elements in the question have a common theme or an answer. All questions will be on the buzzer. Plus 20 for a correct answer, minus 10 for an incorrect answer. Right? So I will showcase one example for the audience before I can run to all of you. So here is the audience question. If I were to show you this question and say, what connects all of these images that I'm showing you, what would be your answer? Any guesses? What would connect all of these elements? Yes, you want to shout out and please introduce yourself and give out the answer yourself. If you can quickly hand over the mic to him.
Hi, my name is Harsh Goyal. I'm a patents advocate. This is Ashok Stamp.
Not the Ashok Stamp. Good guess. Right here, if you want to take a crack, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mohammad Mahatab. I'm presently MBA student at FMS Delhi. This is Subhash Chandra Bose.
And explain.
So this is the photo in the actor is playing Subhash Chandra Bose's character, and Bose was supposed to have died in Japan, so that's his monument there.
I'll give it to you. Subhash Chandra Bose is the right answer. Right? And that's the character from the movie Subhash Chandra Bose, where he played the character. He was in fact an employee of Tata Steel and head the trade union efforts at Tata Steel. Sorry. And that is the Renkoji temple, where people believe his ashes are kept and so on. So people visiting Japan end up traveling to the Renkoji temple in honor of Subhash Chandra Bose. That's the special edition note that was created for the Indian National Army, right? And that's the flag of the Indian National Army. That's the clue that we were looking for. And the fantastic answer, a huge round of applause for that. Subhash Chandra Bose is good. So next question, all to the finalists. Fingers on the buzzer. Your direct question on the screen coming up now. Connect. Oh, we have an answer. Yes, team 6.
Appointed to the bar.
Please use the mic.
They've been appointed to the Supreme Court directly from the bar.
Right, so the justices of the Supreme Court directly elevated to from the bar is what we're looking, and we're quite happy to have one of them amongst us here. So that's K. Vishnathan, sir. Yeah. So these are all the judges who are directly elevated from the bar to the Supreme Court. Very good answer there. Right? So this is 20 points to Team 6. Team 6. That's Team 6 gets 20 points. Right? Fingers on the buzzers, all of you. Let's refresh the buzzer. Next question on the screen. Yeah, let's not press the buzzers, any of you. Question number 2 coming up on the screen now. Connect. Oh, team 2 has gone for it.
This is Durgabai Deshmukh.
Tell us more.
So I went to Sri Venkateshwara College. She was the founder of my college.
Okay, so a little bit. So we did not put it here as a result, but a very good guess. He was part, he said, of the Sri Venkateshwara College. She was the founder of it, and she was founder of the Andhra Educational Society in New Delhi. National Council on Women's Education is something that she headed. She pioneered family courts in India. She was member of the Planning Commission, and I believe that's when she happened to meet her husband, Mr. C.D. Deshmukh, right? So one of the first RBI governors of India. So that's the connection we were looking for. This is noted Constituent Assembly member as well, Ms. Durgabai Deshmukh. Very good answer. Okay, next question coming up on your screens. All of you, fingers on the buzzer. Here it comes, question 3. Connect. Three images. One is a paint company, one is a whiskey company, another one is a brewery. And we've shown you an image, a famous painting. What connects all of these elements? A little bit of a tough one for the finalist here. Okay, looks like I need to perhaps, no points. Okay, no points, because they don't want to take the risk at this stage. Okay, so I'll actually go to the audience first, and if no one answers here, I'll come to you. Anyone in the audience, what connects all of these images? There's also, like, distinctively you can look at those images, there's something. And therefore try to look at why would this appear in the lawyer's quiz? Right? Yes, we have Ram Koji sir wants to take for it.
The bar. Is it the bar?
The bar, that's a good one. I wish it was, but it isn't the bar, but something else. Yes? Women in bar. Okay? Not quite. Not quite. Right. So, yes, I think it's time to go to the finalists. Yes, please use the mic and answer.
Long guess, but that painting reminds me of that Carlick smoke ball case. That smoke ball case.
Ah, the famous Todd case, right? Not quite, not the famous Cargill. And he's taking a sigh of relief that he did not take the buzzer on it, right? I'll give you one of the world's first trademarks, right? This is in Britain in 1870s or so, the Bass & Co., which was depicted in the famous painting by Edward Manet. Here, if you notice, there's the Bass logo. First trademarked, brand trademark from UK. Although in the India's first trademark is not actually recognizable, but the first one noticed is in Calcutta for black and white for the Buchanan's, for the black and white whiskey. And the Avril chemical paint was the first trademark for US, right? Respective trademarks what we're looking for. Yes?
Yeah, just wanted to confirm the scoring is plus 20 minus 10 or minus 15?
Plus 20 minus 10.
Got it.
Right? So, yeah, see, these were the oldest known trademarks registered in US, UK, and India. Right. So, a little bit of a tough one, but something new. Fingers on the buzzers, all of you. Here it comes. The next question on the Connect round.
Then, unfortunately, when the selection...
we have an answer from Team 1. I'm going to pause the audio. I need you to guess. You've gone for it. Plus 20 if you get it right. Minus 10 if you get it wrong. I need an answer. Okay, I need an answer. Please use the mic and answer. I need to be fair for the other teams. I might have to give a negative. 3.
It is Padma Awards.
One of the elements was Padma Awards, not the connection I was looking for. Hard luck, Team 1. I have to give you a minus 10. -10 under pressure. You should just let that audio play out a little. But, it's not there for the other teams now. But I'll go for the audience and I'll come here. So we have Sir. Yeah. Sir, you want to explain that, sir?
Because he was involved in the framing of the Bhutanese constitution. He's a Padma Vibhushan 2015 and a Padma Bhushan 2002. He was for long president of the Union Internationale des Avocats. The Sri Lankan president Chandrika Kumaratunga was part of SARC law, of which he was a part. And the Aurangzeb sword, I think I let the GPS take over.
So he was also a very well-known collector of art and curios. So including the Aurangzeb sword, which is there with noted senior advocate Mr. K.K. Venugopal. And in that audio, he goes on to say how he got a headway of 2 years. Let me play that to all of you.
Then unfortunately, when the selection for the final exam took place, I was ill. Therefore, I couldn't write that. And I was sitting at home. And at that time, my father saw an advertisement in which they said the LLB 2 years without being a graduate. Therefore, I am, I think, one of the exceptional lawyers in India who is not a double graduate, because I was not, the question didn't arise. I did my LLB in 2 years. That, of course, gave me a start, more than the others, by advancing my career by 1 or 2 years.
Right. So that was, and I think it's also very fitting that we had our guest of honor, Justice K. Viswanathan sir, answer the question.
Forfeit the prize.
So sir is saying that since he was a junior to K.K. Venugopal sir, so that is the connection there for the question. So this is Senior Advocate K.K. Venugopal sir. Next question coming up on the screen, fingers on the buzzer, all of you. Here it comes. Question number 5. Okay, we have an answer from team 7. Oh, use the mic, please. I need a connection.
Is it Aruna Shanbhag case?
Use the mic and please.
Is it Aruna Shanbhag case?
Is it the Aruna Shanbhag case? It is the Aruna Shanbhag case. That's the right answer. Famously, Justice Markandeya Kajju used that couplet from Mirza Ghalib that you just heard there. Right? This is Pinky Rani who fought the case on behalf of Aruna Shanbhag. This is the KM hospital where Aruna Shanbhag was housed for a very long time. Recently, Karnataka has made it a law, like in terms of recognizing passive euthanasia through a law. So that's the connection we were looking for. Very, very good answer on team 7. Good answer. Right. So the last question of the round coming up. Fingers on the buzzers. After this, we have only one more round. Fingers on the buzzers, all of you. Here it comes. Question number 6. Okay, yes, we have team 6 which has gone for it. Team 6, you guys have gone for it.
This is the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act.
So if you can use the mic and answer.
The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act.
Right, tell us more.
The God of Small Things was based on the case which Arundhati Roy's mother litigated. So that's largely on that. Ms. Indira Jaisingh was instrumental in getting the act to come in. Section 498A deals with, I think, roughly like.
Domestic violence, I'll give it to you. That's what I was looking for. And the movie, Potpourri, Provoked, and all these movies have the same theme. And whatever you saw in that symbol that she showed is the global sign for domestic violence, right? The hands gesture. And Indra Sarma versus Vicky V. Sarma was a case where live-in relationship, also domestic violence was recognized as a abuse. So this is what we were looking for. I think a cracker of an answer from team 6. Very well done, right? right? So next, we've come to the end of 4 rounds of quizzing. I think we are just about, I need to fasten the pace of the quiz. Let's refresh the buzzers, right? Quick audience questions that my team can quickly get the...
No, one answer only. I'm very strict here.
Oh, okay, answer came out. Unfortunately, here what happened was, Derek O'Brien very interestingly conducted a quiz for the MPs to orient them, the new first-time MPs, to orient them on the parliamentary procedure. And that is what the question was. Looked like the clicker kind of, went
No,
to the
one answer only. I'm very strict here. Okay. This team, Mahua, Santosh is from Comrade, CPIM, right?
Okay.
This team, Mahua Maj.
So he conducted a quiz. That was the question. We thought it's always a good way of engaging and, enabling for learning. So next question. This Indian theosophist and Sanskrit scholar served in the Central Legislative Assembly of British India, a member of the Hindustani Cultural Society, actively opposed rioting as a form of protest, a strong advocate for national freedom. He often faced reprisals from the British government. He was awarded the Bharat Ratna in the year 1955. Identify him. I have an answer already here, but I'll allow this gentleman to take a crack at it. Right? Yes? If you can introduce yourself.
Sir, Amresh Kumar, sir, Advocate Amresh Kumar. Dr. Bhagwan Das.
I'll give it to you, Dr. Bhagwan Das, after whom this present role, the Supreme Court of India and the ISIL is on.
Sir, my hostel is Dr. Bhagwan Das Hostel in BHU, sir. Banaras Hindu University.
Oh, fantastic, of course. Right? So it looks like Venkateshwara College, Banaras Hindu University, all of them getting fitting questions today in the quiz. Well done. Good answer. Right? So we've come to the end of 4 rounds of quizzing. Last round to come through, we have the scores. So we'll quickly look at the scores after 2 rounds of quizzing. Team 1 at 65. If they're not taken that negative, they probably would have been at 75. Team 2 at 90, 10 short of a century. Team 3 is at 60. Team 4 is at 10 points. Team 5 is at 15. And Team 6... Okay, so your negatives was... Okay, so what's your score? 90. So team, if you can cross-check that whole scoring again. Okay. No. That last round, they've gotten it right. So we check each of the answers. But I'll get the team to clarify that. Team 6 is at 70. They need to be at 90 is what they're saying. We'll just check on that. Fair point. Team 7 is at 20. And Team 8 is at minus 20. Anybody's game, last round is at 120 points, right? It's at 120 points. So 120 points in the last round, yes. Yeah, 60 points. So it could be anybody's game in the last round. Fingers on the buzzers, all of you. Yeah, we'll clarify your scores, right? So very quickly, if you can just let us. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. So they'll be at 90. We'll correct that. So good point. Thanks for pointing it out. 90 is what Team 6 will be. Okay, apologies on that. Now we move on to the last round of quizzing. Fingers on the buzzers, all of you. One other question. Yeah. 2 teams from here qualify for the grand finale on March 2nd. All teams, 2 teams. So all of them strategizing how they need to perform in the last round, right? Let's get started. Fingers on the buzzers. The last round is what we call the hotspot round. Right. You want to see the scores again? Okay. So I'll read out the scores for the benefit. Rules again. Reading out the rules. 6 questions in all. All questions on the buzzer. All questions will appear on the screen. Plus 20 for a correct answer. Minus 10 for an incorrect answer. Right?
They're all Just regular questions.
Regular questions, simple, will play up on the screen. Teams are quite competitive here in the Northern Zonal Finals. Fingers on the buzzer. First question coming up on the screen. Here it comes. In the legal system followed in the Indian subcontinent, this term refers to the court of the lowest order handling matters originated in the time period of Sher Shah Suri. To be just and fair is what it means. Ansafa comes from a word meaning Ansafa. Team 1, I need an answer. You went for the buzzer. Plus 20 if you get it right. Minus 10. Sulaikun. Oh, hard luck. Ansafa gives you. Okay, audience, anyone who wants to take a crack at it? Yeah. Yes. Somebody who's not answered from that end. Yes, yes, yes. Munsif is right. Munsif is Munsif court, right? This is what we were looking for. Munsif is what we're looking for. Fingers on the buzzer. Next question on the screen. Now, the mayor of Naperville, Illinois, declared October 14th as Justice Dash Day in honor of the Indian Supreme Court judge for his landmark rulings on cases of national importance. Okay, Team 4 has gone for it. Team 4, who has been honored by a day by the mayor of Naperville, Illinois. Team 4, please give us an answer. You've hit the buzzer. Plus 20, minus 10. Okay, Team 4 was the first to go for it. So, one attempt per question. Yes? I need an answer now, Team 4. You can't buy time after hitting the buzzer. Use the mic.
Justice Rohinton Nariman.
Justice Rohinton Nariman is an incorrect answer. I have Rana Mukherjee sir wants to take a crack at it.
Chalameshwar.
Okay, the answer was Justice Jasti Chalameshwar, sir, and it's named after in his honor. So this is Justice Chalameshwar is the right answer. So a day in US is named after a Supreme Court judge, right? So that's what we were looking for. Fingers on the buzzer. Next question coming up on the screen, all of you. Question number 3. I hope none of the buzzers are on, right? Let's refresh. Fingers on the buzzer. Now, in a recent legal dispute, a Delhi court ordered attachment of a historic property near India Gate. We have Team 3, which has gone for it. And yes, Team 3, I need an answer.
Bikaner House. The Bikaner House.
Bikaner House is right. It was a place where many princely state, kings and you'd come there and be part of, before the Chamber of Princes was created. Right? Which iconic property? This is the Bikaner House. Well done. 20 points is Team 3. Well done. Okay, let's refresh the buzzers. I don't know who hit the buzzer even before the question came up. Fingers on the buzzer. Question number 4 coming up on the screen now. What is a legal document issued in India that authorizes the execution of a convicted criminal? If you use the mic, please. Is right. And a recent movie series that was also created on Netflix based on the book by Sunil Gupta, the jailer of Tihar jail, and Ms. Sunitra Chowdhury. This is Black Warrant. Very good answer and a good 20 points to Team 8. Fingers on the buzzer. Next question coming up on the screen. Question number 5 and the penultimate question now. What event is showcased in the Part 18 of the Indian Constitution? I think Team 3 has gone for it, right? This is a specific event that was shown. It comes from a combination of 2 words, meaning new and canal. Over to Team 3, I need an answer. If this is from the Constitution original paintings, Team 3 is what is press the buzzer.
Vembanad, the lake.
The days? No, that's the answer I took. Have to take it. What is the answer? 1 minute. I'll take that answer.
Vembanad.
Vembanad is a minus 10. Unfortunately, not Vembanad. Hard luck. I think they went with New and Canal from this one. So a lot of them in the finals want to take a crack at it. But I'll probably use somebody in the audience. Yes, you want to take a crack at it? Please come forward. Noakholi riots is what, if you can introduce yourself as well.
I am Himanshu Yadav. I am a lawyer based in Delhi.
A lawyer based in Delhi, getting that. So Noakholi is right. So this is, right, Noakholi rights. And that was depiction by Nandalal Bose on the original constitution. Right, as I call out the last question of the quiz, I think a huge round of applause for all our finalist teams for a fabulous performance. Some of them have gotten qualified from the online preliminary round. Over 1,000 lawyers participated across the country. And we had an offline preliminary round today where the top 5 were selected. And that made it the 8 finalists on stage. So fabulous performance from all of you. The last question coming up on the screen. Question number 6. The Chamber of Princes in the old Parliament building housed which constitutional body? I need an answer. Team 7 was the one which has gone for it. You
Supreme Court. Supreme Court of India.
You say it's the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Minus 10 is what you'll not get. Good 20 points. That's right. This is the Supreme Court of India. I think a moment of breath as I said minus 10. So this is the Supreme Court of India, where it was at the Chamber of Princes, the place in the old Parliament building, and later moved to the present building right in front of here. So that's the Supreme Court of India, and that's the conclusion of our quiz. Now for, I think, a huge round of applause for all the finalist teams. Just give us 5 more seconds. I request all the finalist teams to kindly come forward here to the, to take your places in the audience. We'll just set up the stage for a very quick prize distribution and an address by all our guests of honor. If you can please come forward down. I'll ask a quick set of audience questions for all of you as we set up the stage. Right? Oh, wait, sit down. I think we have a tie and I have to break the tie. So can you please come forward? Apologies. No, but we have to break the tie for, okay, do we have to break the tie if they are willing to? Right, top 2 go through. And, right, so, yeah, just in the interest of, right. So it's for the first position, and I think we have to break the tie. So I think the others can come down to the stage. Only the team which is in the tie, if you can just quickly stay back, we'll quickly ask you a question to break the tie. Okay, so I think they want to split the prize money. I think sir is fine. I think we are fine as well. So we'll be joint first place. Are you guys okay? Right, okay. So I think good bonhomie amongst lawyers, which is nice to see. So good answer. Right, there, so if you can please come down. We'll just quickly have a quick set of audience questions as we set up the stage. Mediation is regarded, yeah, good. Now for audience questions, just as we set up the stage, G.S. Lakshmanan Iyer was a freedom fighter from Tamil Nadu. During his lifetime, he is credited with having done a lot towards the improvement of the poor and oppressed. He was a chairman of the Gobi Chettipalayam municipality twice. It was during his tenure in the 1950s when Gobi Chettipalayam became the first city in India to ban a certain practice, which traditionally defined roles as determined by India's caste system. While the practice has been officially abolished by law in India, it is still practiced. One of the biggest violators happens to be the Indian Railways. What practice is this? Right, so anyone in the audience, so a lot of you raising your hands. So somebody who has not answered, perhaps I want to take a crack. Yes, if you can please come forward and introduce yourself and give out the answer.
I'm a practicing advocate here in Delhi, and the answer is manual scavenging.
Manual scavenging is the right answer. Very good. And one of the first municipalities which banned it, right, at Gobi Chettipalayam, was Mr. Lakshmanan Iyer. Very good answer. Next question. So, sir has an additional information for all of you, sir.
We hear that there is a statue put up for him after a long time recognizing his effort.
In Gobichettipalayam, there is a statue now put up. So that's an addition from Sir. So we can probably go check it out as well. So next question. Audience, request all of you to be seated. Request all the audience members to be seated. Thank you. In this video, Himanta Chakravarti describes Jana AI, which he co-founded with E.M. McGlone, Benjamin Hoffner Brodowski, which role frequently featured in John Grisham's novels, such as Rudy Baylor in The Rainmaker, does this perform? So I'll play the video for all of you.
Sort of like an associate for an associate, an intern for an intern, right? It's both a very intelligent associate in the sense that it's read all the laws under the world and it has access to every piece of information that could be potentially relevant. But it's also very directed in the sense that it is a co-pilot always awaiting your instructions and trying to please you and deliver what you ask for.
Right. So he's, in fact, we have an answer from there.
Hello, my name is Anupam. I'm a corporate lawyer. The answer is paralegal.
Absolutely, paralegal, now an AI agent, so to say. That's the answer we were looking for. This is an AI paralegal. Very good answer, right? Enabling and helping advocates and lawyers with all of their, work as a paralegal would do. Next question coming up on the screen. Okay, so here is a question from one of our guests of honor. At a recent event addressing societal challenges in the digital age, Supreme Court Justice K.V. Viswanathan warned about the dangers of misinformation spreading. He described this phenomenon as contributing to truth decay and urged the audience to critically think rather than accept them at face value. What two-word term did he use to highlight this issue with the statement, "Don't get carried away by dash dash"? Okay, so what are we referring to? You want to take a crack at it?
Artificial intelligence.
Not artificial intelligence. Okay, I'll give it to the student here who wants to take a crack. Over to her.
WhatsApp University.
So you're saying WhatsApp University. So always cross-check a WhatsApp forward before believing it. That's the right answer. Very well done. So let's all be wary of WhatsApp University forwards. Let's apply our critical thinking whenever and wherever we can. So the next question coming up on the screen, fingers on the, for all of you. Right. So Roy Cohen was an American lawyer and prosecutor who came to prominence for his role as a Senator Joseph McCarthy's chief counsel during the Army McCarthy hearings in 1954. Through the 1980s, he became a prominent political fixer in New York and mentored a famous personality during his early career. In 1969, his lawyer suffered a heart attack near the end of the trial. Cohen deftly stepped in and did a 7-hour-long closing argument, never once referred to a notepad. He was acquitted. Who was Cohen's famous mentee? Okay, I have an answer, but let me play the video for the benefit of all of you. Right? So just tell us.
Roy Cohn, nice to meet you. Neil Roy Cohn, you're brutal. Guilty as charged. I didn't always win. There's rules. The first rule is attack, attack, attack.
Right. So who was his famous mentee? I have some of you who wants to answer here. Right? Yeah. So go ahead.
It's the Donald.
It's the Donald Trump. That's the right answer. Right? So this is Donald Trump, who was mentored by a lawyer, Roy Cohen. And there's a movie about him also that has come about. That's the answer we were looking for. And I think we are about ready with... Okay, we have a last question. In the 1500s in England, establishments were required by law that a grating made of either metal or wood be pulled in front of the serving area at closing time. Law courts in London also had a similar requirement in front of the judge's bench when court was closed. What name did such establishment get because of this requirement? Which profession got its name because of the above origin, right? So what used to happen in England? Establishment required by law that a grating made of either metal or wood be pulled in front of the serving area at closing time, right? So this gave origin to which profession and later such establishment got their name as a result. What are we referring to? Sir, you want to take a crack at it?
Bar and advocate profession.
So you're saying bar.
So the bar of wood would be there, and as barristers, you had a similar requirement in front of the judge's bench when court was closed. I'll give it to you. Bar and barrister is what we were looking for, right? And that's the origin of these two terms. And I think we are ready with those audience questions to move on to the prize distribution ceremony. So very quickly, we will start off. Are you ready with the results?
So thank you all for being here as part of the North Zone finals of Amicus Curiae, a law for lawyers being organized across the country to really kind of engage the legal fraternity with an objective of building a lifelong learning mindset, right? So it's an immense pleasure to have you all today. What an exhilarating experience it has been, truly thought-provoking with the kind of answers provided by all the finalists here, and also a spirit of camaraderie and friendship. We could see that in the way teams decided to split the prize and go ahead. So on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of India's Constitution, this was an initiative, an interesting experiment being made in order to engage lawyers across the country. Now as we move forward, it's an absolute honor and privilege to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guests on this occasion. May I request the Chief Guest of Honor, Honorable Justice K.V. Vishwanathan Sir, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Justice Vibhu Bakru Sir, and, to be coming on stage, and Senior Advocate Raju Ramchandran Sir to please come up on stage. Okay. Oh. Okay. Right. I request Raju Ramchandran Sir to kindly felicitate our guests of honor to give a small token of appreciation to Justice Vibhu Bakru Sir and Justice K.V. Vishwanathan Sir. Right, just a second. Can we have a good enough? Thank you so much, sir. And I request Palak. Right. So, may I request Palak, Advocate of the Supreme Court of India, please come forward and give a token of appreciation to Mr. Raju Ramchandran Sir, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court of India. So, if you can accept small token of appreciation from us. Thank you so much for gracing the occasion, sir. Right. So it's indeed very happy to have Senior Advocate Raju Ramchandran Sir, who happens to also be a senior advocate who has been part of the 14 senior advocates who have supported this initiative and sponsored the quiz. A huge round of applause for all the senior advocates who have been kind enough to sponsor the quiz. I would request Senior Advocate Raju Ramchandran to a former distinguished legal expert and former Additional Solicitor General of India, a graduate of St. Stephen's College and Delhi University's Faculty of Law. He began his legal career in 1979, earning recognition as a senior advocate, the Supreme Court in 1996. With expertise in constitutional, administrative, admiralty, civil and copyright law, he has argued landmark cases across various high courts and the Supreme Court. He was appointed Amicus Curiae by the Supreme Court in two of India's most significant cases, the 2002 Gujarat riots and 2008 Mumbai attacks, which is the Ajmal Kasab's appeal. In a remarkable act of professional ethics, he donated his fees from the Mumbai attacks case to the families of fallen security personnel. Beyond litigation, he has served on key judicial inquiries, including the Justice Savant Committee, Kaveri Water Disputes Tribunal, and Justice R.S. Pathak Inquiry Committee, and also was the Vice President of the Supreme Court Bar Association. It's indeed an honor and privilege to have him amidst us, and I request sir to kindly address the audience. So if you can, please come forward.
If it was a court of law, I could speak unprepared. But here I was excusing myself, but I was asked to stay on. Now, without preparation, I can only ask a quiz question from the audience. It was said that I'm an expert on admiralty law. Can someone name the case? Yes, MV Elizabeth versus, that is the only admiralty case I have done in my life. And I must tell you the story of how I came to do that famous case. This case was argued by my friend and colleague Aryama Sundaram in the Andhra Pradesh High Court, both before the single judge, who happened to be Justice Jagannath Rao, and the division bench. I'm forgetting who was on the division bench. The case finally came to the Supreme Court. I filed it as a mere advocate on record. But then I was told by the firm in Madras which had engaged Mr. Aryama Sundaram that now the Greek ship owner had fled, and there was no question of any fees coming. So we can't send Aryama Sundaram from Chennai to Delhi, so please look after the matter. And that's how this case was argued for 9 days, the longest case I've ever argued in my life. Even Ajmal Kasab took only 6 days. But there is a sequel to this fluke of my arguing MV Elizabeth. Justice Kochuthoman in the end said, we are still governed by these colonial laws. It's time that India had an admiralty law of its own. So soon after that, Justice K.N. Singh, the 17-day Chief Justice of India, became chairman of the Law Commission, and I got a call from him saying, Raju, please advise the Law Commission on a draft admiralty law. I said, sir, I know nothing about this branch of law. He said, but you've argued this case, so you've gained enough knowledge. So on the basis of that one case, I became an advisor to the Law Commission on the draft admiralty law. So without preparation, this is all I could think of saying, but I congratulate all the brilliant quizzers here. Ultimately, the only thing which I share with these champion quizzers is a love and penchant for the irrelevant, because you don't know when it will come in useful. So my only advice to all of you is keep up your love for the irrelevant, and you'll win prizes also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think I'll remember this for the long time, to always have a penchant for the irrelevant. So thank you so much for that message, sir. And also the whole idea of how serendipity plays such an important role in our lives. Thank you, sir. So and now it's my honor and privilege to invite to the podium to give an address to all of you, Justice Vibhu Bakru, sir, a distinguished jurist known for dedication and legal excellence, a Delhi University graduate from 1987 and a chartered accountant in 1989. He later pursued law, earning an LLB in 1990 and enrolling with the Bar Council of India. With extensive practice before the Supreme Court, Delhi High Court, and various tribunals, he was recognized as a senior advocate in 2011. His judicial career began with his appointment as an additional judge in 2013, followed by permanent judgeship in 2015. On December 5, 2024, he had assumed the esteemed role of the acting Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court. We are privileged to have sir with us today. Request all of you to kindly welcome Honorable Justice Vibhu Bakru, sir, to give a small address to all of you.
Justice Vishwanathan, Mr. Raju, and all the senior advocates, and I compliment them for this initiative that they have taken. It's an extremely cheerful way of what Mr. Raju said was irrelevant, but it's trivia. And to some extent, it expands your knowledge without you really knowing it, that it does. It's not very common in India that we have quizzes like this. But if you were to travel on even countryside in England, you'll find every pub has 1 week in a day as a quiz day. And it's quite interesting if you ever have a chance to visit any of these pubs on a quiz night. And back or beyond villages, you'll find persons with treasure trove of knowledge across the world. So I remember this one, and I'll share this with you, one incident. I still remember it was a long time ago. I and my wife were traveling, and we had stopped overnight at this village called Curiae in Wales. And the B&B owner suggested that we pop over at a pub. It was a quiz night. So remember, it was a Monday quiz night. We popped there, and before you knew, these people came around and said, "Look, if you want to join the quiz, it's £1," and the prize was a bottle of wine. So we all sort of chipped in. And then they came across and said, "You've got to give your team a name," and there was a blackboard and the football team. And I, of course, never forgave my wife for it. She gave the team India. So throughout I was telling her, "Look, in back or beyond in village, you'll make us look bad. That's not the name you should have given." But sure enough, and the quiz started, and the pub filled up. You had teams of some 10 people at one table, 7 in another, and they knew almost every question that was asked. And apart from biology questions, I think we didn't answer anything, so we were like down in the low. But the amount of knowledge that one realized that people in the village just had it's just because of the quiz. And so my compliments once again, and of course to Justice Muralidhar. I know he's been spearheading this for some time, and all the senior advocates who put this together. And I really don't want to hold back anymore, but let's go forward to see Mr. Vishwanathan and then the prize ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I'm pretty sure when you see the quality of our quizzes in India, I think India would always be proud of the heritage and wonderful answers that most of them gave. So now it's again an honor and privilege to invite on stage our guests of honor, Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, sir, Honorable Judge of the Supreme Court of India, our esteemed chief guest today, a distinguished jurist. He graduated with the first rank from the Coimbatore Law College and trained under eminent legal minds like Mr. K.K. Venugopal, sir. With an illustrious career spanning decades, he was designated as a senior advocate in 2009 and later served as the Additional Solicitor General of India in 2013. His expertise has been instrumental in several landmark cases, including appearances before the Constitutional Bench of the Supreme Court. Beyond litigation, he has contributed significantly to legal aid, judicial reforms, and legal education. Recognized for his excellence, he is elevated directly from the bar to the Supreme Court of India on 19th May 2023. An avid reader and sports enthusiast, Justice Vishwanathan's legacy continues to inspire the legal fraternity. His dedication to justice, deep legal acumen, and commitment to public system make him a true inspiration. Now, let us extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, sir.
Thank you, Raghav, for that generous introduction. At the very outset, let me congratulate the organizers, long set of senior advocates, for coming together on the occasion of the 75th year of the adoption of the Constitution, and particularly for Mr. Muralidhar, Mr. Hegde, and Mr. Ramchandran and Mr. Rana, who have spearheaded it. And you have thought of having a quiz competition. I've always been fascinated by quiz, right from my childhood, and let me congratulate you, Raghav, not because you gave me a generous introduction, but the way you conducted it reminded me I was just sitting there noting down the list of quiz masters whom I have had occasion to see either on television predominantly. You will match any one of these. Siddharth Basu, the late Bhaskar Bhattacharya, if you remember, Derek O'Brien, whom we got to see on the screen. I'm sure you remember Ronnie Screwvala. Sonali Chandra, don't forget, she used to come on the sports quiz. And the one and only Harsha Bogle, but one and only Amitabh Bachchan on Kaun Banega Crorepati. But then, friends, why quiz at all? Why should we know this trivia? Particularly the way you have couched the program. You see, the letter that Murli sent had a brief write-up on it. It says, to commemorate this historic milestone, Amicus Curiae is being organized for lawyers focused on law and exploring law from the lens of history, the Indian constitution, culture, films, art, jurisprudence, literature, and technology. I think it's important because in whatever calling you are, you need to be imbued with the sense of history and tradition. Now, I'll tell you a small example why. I don't know whether I heard Michael Atherton say this or I read a piece of his. He was at a post-match presentation, and a prominent Indian opener, known for his explosive batting, was told that he was on the verge of breaking the record of Vinu Mankad and Pankaj Roy, he and his pair. And it appears the vacant look that he gave made Michael Atherton feel that the player thought Mankad and Roy were a firm of chartered accountants. So it's always important that you are imbued with a sense of history, because there are certain ethos and values which are relayed from generation to generation. And I think there's no better way to do it when you ask certain trivia. And through trivia, you get the pointer, you get the lead, and for those of you wanting to pursue, you will be able to pursue it. It is also a baton which you pass on to the next generation for them to be either inspired or, to emulate. It widens your horizon. It can help you in a crucial situation. It can prevent you from committing howlers. I remember reading Nani Palkiola's book where he mentions about an income tax officer who was a Shakespeare fan, and he wrote in the order after setting out how he would not believe the SSE's case that something is rotten in the state of Denmark. And the lawyer who was to file an appeal had no clue of what it was. So anyway, by abundant caution, he wrote, first of all, there is nothing in the state of rotten in the state of Denmark. Two, assuming without admitting if anything was wrong, it was extraterritorial for the assessing officer Circle 1 Bombay to have commented on a state of affairs in the state of Denmark. So it's very important for that. Now, after all, they say a good lawyer is one who knows how to locate the law, not so much the one who knows the law. I think these trivia, these pointers will lead you to the answer that you are looking for. But what I got to see today was how it can also, engender a team spirit in the team. Each of them were discussing, and then they deliberated, and, they came out with the answer. It is, after all, our profession is all about teamwork. I was sitting in court number 2, wanting to watch the legendary A.K. Sen. He always, would come and plonk himself in the first chair, irrespective of what the item was. So, Mr. A.K. Sen was constantly turning back and looking at the door, which ordinarily a junior would do. But I was wondering, why does a senior turn back and look? And in walks the late Anil Kumar Gupta, who had briefed him And Mr. Sen, I could figure out, I told him, first as soon as he saw him, he said, Mr. Gupta, where is the translation? Mr. Gupta, as soon as he got out of Sen's chamber, had forgotten about the translation. And what Sen told him was, look, if you can't do it, I could have done it. If I had no time, Bhomik could have done it. If Bhomik had no time, Bablu would have done it. And then he said, this profession is all about teamwork. Nobody can claim to know everything, he said. That's when I realized that teamwork is extremely important, and events like these engender in the individual team spirit. It also promotes healthy competition, which you have mentioned. It promotes fellowship, which is a lamp of advocacy. I think at the end of the day, it's also a great leveler. Sometimes when you miss obvious questions, only when you participate in a quiz, you realize how much you don't know. When I read K.V. Krishnaswamy Iyer's Professional Conduct and Advocacy, there was one passage which fascinated me then and continues to fascinate me. He said, the little knowledge we have is like a torch flung into an abyss. The little light telling us the extent of darkness around you. So I think it's a great humbler. I wish you all success. I congratulate the winning team. But I think as any sport teaches, quiz also teaches you to, it's not about winning and losing. It's about participation. It's about sharing. And like I always went after a quiz competition with the feeling that how much is more to learn. I think you will all be going back with that feeling. I have thoroughly enjoyed the evening. I have also managed to get an answer right. But I have been part of the whole process in Mr. Venugopal's chamber in the 5 years, magnificent years I spent there. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and it's overall a wonderful evening. Congratulations, all the best, and I wish you are able to replicate this every year to the extent possible. I know you're all very busy. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those words. I would now request Raju Ramchandran, sir, to share a few words, and he had something to add.
I'm sorry I had to come back again, but with two judges here, I can't help myself. Just as Vishwanathan said, you must have the sense of history. So this curiosity should lead to that. So some years back, all of you, I assume, I hope at least, have heard of the late Mr. B. Sen. He was a barrister practicing before the Privy Council. Chief Justice Kania, before the Supreme Court was set up, went to London to invite Indian barristers practicing there to come to India to set up practice in the Supreme Court so that the traditions of the Privy Council could be brought here, because Delhi, remember, had only a district bar. The High Court was the Punjab High Court. So in response to Justice Kania's invitation, two barristers came. One was Mr. B. Sen, the other was Mr. H.J. Umrigar, who specialized in criminal law. Mr. Umrigar died. He didn't live into the 70s, the 1970s, but B. Sen continued till the time I joined practice in 76, then went out for a few years to head the Afro-Asian Legal Consultative Committee and came back to practice. Now, the story of B. Sen and the Supreme Court in its formative years are inextricably intertwined. Now, there was this seminar in Vigyan Bhavan, some big international conference. There were lawyers, there were judges. So, I introduced Mr. B. Sen, who by then, of course, was not regularly appearing in courts. So one can forgive the judge concerned for not placing him by face. So I introduced Mr. Sen to the judge and said he was invited by Chief Justice Kania to come and practice here. He's been associated with the formative years of the Supreme Court, etc. The judge kept saying, oh, I see. Oh, I see. 15 days thereafter, that judge became the Chief Justice of India. So therefore, for the next quiz, the question will be, who was this judge who didn't have a sense of history of his own court? Please keep that in mind, Quizmaster.
Thanks for that addition, sir. And now, I think the time we've all waiting for as well to announce the results. And we had over 60 odd lawyers who participated in the preliminary round, or the offline preliminary round. There are 2 teams which just missed out. So I just wanted to call out those teams which just missed out. And I request our guests of honor to kindly felicitate them. They missed out by a whisker, so I wanted to just call out their effort as well. They call themselves Quizzers, Akash Deep and Anushri Jain. If you could please come forward and collect your small token of our appreciation for your effort there. Please come forward. And I request Anshika and Tanu, who's also just missed out. So Anshika and Tanu, are you here? Right, okay, looks like they aren't here, but Anshika and Tanu also just missing out. So if you can please come forward and collect a small token of appreciation. Request Raju Ramchandran sir and to give away the just missed teams. Yeah. Thank you. Right. Now for the finalist teams. Right, so no particular order. I would like to call the finalists. Can I request Team 8, Aditi and Anuj, advocates on record of the Supreme Court of India, who qualified from the online preliminary round and are finalists here today, to please come forward and collect a prize from them. I think a good round of applause for them. Fantastic effort. Now can I request the team which call themselves the Twin Test, with Kshitij and Ankush Rai, to please come forward and collect their prizes. So lawyers from Delhi to please collect their prizes. Now I would request 2 teams, one which call themselves Motilal Nehru Marg, Prithvi Viraj and Sayan Bhattacharya, to please come forward and collect their prizes as well. So in fact we had Motilal Marg and another team which called themselves Tilak Marg Rebels in the finals. I think a good round of applause for them. Their commendable performance in the finals. Right. And I would now request on team 5, Mohini, Rajan and Sanchit to please come forward and collect their prizes. So advocates and record from the Supreme Court of India who are on team 5. I think a good round of applause for them. They were finalist teams. We gave some very good answers. Right. And now the team, in fact, a combine of
civil servants and advocate of the Supreme Court of India. Can we please give it up for a team which call themselves Aj, Jaidev, Animesh and Abhishek, coming in second runners-up in today's quiz of the North Zone Finals. And now, I think two teams, set of lawyers who decided to share their fees, so to say. Can we give it up for Tilak Marg, Rebels, Mukund, Manish and Pranjal, the joint first with team Kartikeya Agarwal, Subhash Chakravarti, Shubh Chakravarti and Ankur Agraj, who are the joint winners of our North Zone final of Amicus Curiae. I think a huge round of applause for them.
We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions, we are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
Right? So we request our team Kartikeya, Subhak and Ankur Agraj to please come forward and collect your prizes. If you can come that side. And I also request Team 1, Jayesh, Faisal and Kavya Jawar to please come forward and collect your prizes as well. So it was my miss. They were a fantastic team in the finals. I think a huge round of applause for our finalist teams, Mr. Jayesh, Faisal and Kavya. This is Kavya to collect the prize as well. Yeah, we request you to. I request all the finalists to please stay back as well for a photo and request the dignitaries to be seated just as I read out the vote of thanks. Thank you. Right, as we reach the conclusion of the North Zone of the Amicus Curiae, very heartened to have distinguished guests grace the occasion. So a heartfelt, deep gratitude to our Chief Guest, Honorable Justice K.V. Vishwanathan Sir, Judge of the Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice Vibhu Bakru, Judge of the Delhi High Court of India, and Raju Ramchandran Sir, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court of India. Thank you so much for your presence today. It's an immense sense of inspiration for all of you to be so sportive and really kind of recollecting interesting connections and stories to regale all of us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And we also extend our sincere appreciation to all the senior advocates who were here today for gracing the occasion and
who have been a pillar of support by sponsoring such an initiative. A huge round of applause to Mr. Sanjay Hegde, Mr. Rana Mukherjee sir, and Drs. Muralidhar sir, who have been truly an inspiration for all of us here, part of the organizing team of the quiz. A special note of thanks to our senior advocates, other senior advocates who sponsored the quiz, Mr. Arvind Datta, Mr. Chandra Uday Singh, Mr. Dama Sheshadri Naidu, Husefa Ahmadi sir, Jaideep Gupta sir, Ms. Madhvi Diwan, Ms. Meenakshi Arora, Mr. Nakul Diwan, Ms. Rebecca John, Mr. Siddharth Luthra. Thank you so much for all the support, and I think a huge round of applause for them, please. And I request Rana Mukherjee sir to have a few words.
Good evening. And I used to pride myself to be a good quizzer till as long as I was in college. Till Sanjay Hegde taught me what quizzing was. Many people do not know he's one of the best quizzers we have in Supreme Court. Unfortunately, he's only answering questions thrown by judges. But he has the reputation of being one of the best quizzers in the court. The new generation would not know. So big round of applause for Mr. Hegde. In fact, I would like him to be more participative in this quiz contest. He reached the BBC semi-finalist, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So, just little things for the younger generation.
In fact, I think there was a quiz for lawyers being organized on Law Day called the Question of Law. And I remember Sanjay Hegde sir was one of the winners, actually twice winning the quiz. Right? So thank you so much, sir. And our sincere gratitude to all the participants, for your enthusiasm, dedication, and really engaging with us here in this competition. Truly commendable, and we hope this experience has enriched your knowledge and passion for the law. A sincere gratitude to our media partner. The quiz has been streamed live by LiveLaw, who have played a pivotal role in amplifying the outreach for the quiz. We also extend our appreciation for the Indian Society of International Law, our venue partner for the North Zone of the quiz, National Foundation of India for their support, the organizing team, the technical team, and the supporting staff who have really enabled this quiz today. Finally, thank you, audience, for being such a gracious audience who stuck around till the end of the quiz. A huge round of applause for all the audience members here. As we conclude, thank you to our team in the back end really working. I have Ahil, Ashish here, and a team back end with Lokesh, Masoom, and multiple other team members really working in the back end to enable the quiz from the team Q Shala. Thank you so much for your showing up regularly to enable such an event. And as we conclude, let us carry forward the spirit of learning, intellectual curiosity, and truly be constitutional defenders and take that as the pledge on the 75th anniversary of India's Constitution. And I look forward to welcoming all of you to the grand finale of the quiz, which will be held on March 2nd at the Delhi High Court Auditorium. So thank you and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much, all of you. I request all the audience members to be seated as the dignitaries walk down the stage. Thank you. And there is also high tea being organized for all the audience members. If it will be on the first floor, floor above, for all of you.